bit changed. Our guy Callan at USD last night said, "Oh, I get to listen to you at 10 o'clock at night tonight." I said, "No. What are you talking about?"
Well, I mean, technically, you can listen to the show whenever you want.
Also true.
On Spotify, you can watch replays on YouTube. But, the live show is always going to be at 10 in the morning.
Yeah. Did you actually think we were going to be at from 10 o'clock at night to 2 in the morning? A little overnight?
Who, me?
No.
Oh,
I mean, people that thought that was going to be the case. I hope not. The only time I would do that is on a Friday night show if we did like a high school football scoreboard show. But I'd be signing up to just be dead by age 32, just by too much work. Anyway, Padres, obviously going to be the main topic of discussion today. Padres going to be main topic of discussion today. As well as, we got NFL this weekend. We have college football this weekend that we're going to get into. We made our picks 2 days ago because we were off yesterday. We got high school football tonight throughout San Diego County. Aztecs play football tomorrow. We'll have Drake Hills on the show later today to talk about the MLS and everything else going on in local soccer in San Diego. But the main topic of discussion is going to be the Padres. And we're going to start like we usually do about relatively the status of the San Diego Padres and how you view everything right now if you're a Padres fan. There's really nothing. With 9 games left, you're the 5 seed. That's basically where you're at right now. You are the 5 seed. You got a 4-game lead on the Mets with 9 games to play. You still have the tiebreaker over the Mets despite losing 2 out of 3 this week in New York. So a 4-game lead with 9 to go, and you're down 3 games in the standings to the Dodgers with 9 to go, and you're down 5 games in the standings to the Cubs with 9 to go. That's it. You're the 5 seed. What is really disheartening about the Padres is the fact that they had probably their greatest opportunity to win the division for the first time in 19 years, and they squandered it away in the last 2 months of the season. I mean, the Dodgers are not playing good baseball. I don't know how many times I've had to say that the Dodgers are not playing good baseball. This is probably one of the worst Dodger teams we've seen in the last 10 years, despite the fact that going into the season, they were expected to be one of the best Dodger teams ever because of all the money they spent and winning the World Series the year before and Shohei Ohtani being the greatest baseball player to ever live. But despite all of that, with their injury concerns, how bad their bullpen is, the Dodgers are so vulnerable, yet the Padres, to quote Dennis Green, let them off the hook. They are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook. And that's exactly what the Padres did. They let the Dodgers off the hook. So with 9 games left, here's the outcome. This is what you got to be striving for now. And what you're watching for is getting ready for October baseball, getting ready to beat the Cubs twice, because you're going to have to beat the Cubs twice in Chicago. That's it. There's really nothing else to be said. There's really nothing else to play for. You're locked into the 5 seed. There will be a time where the Padres officially clinch. It sounds like the earliest they can do that is potentially tomorrow, not tomorrow morning, just tomorrow. It will probably happen sometime next week. Padres' magic number to clinch a playoff spot is 4. Cubs are in, Brewers are in, Phillies are in. Dodgers' magic number to clinch a playoff spot is 1. So with a win tonight over the Giants, which is probably expected, the Dodgers will be in the playoffs. Padres' magic number again is 4. So they'd have to win tonight, hope the Reds lose. They'll knock it down to 2. And again, if they win on Saturday and the Reds lose again, it'll knock it down to, or them and the Diamondbacks really need to lose. It will knock it down to 0, and you'll be in the postseason. So again, this is the situation at hand. We talked about the crucial 42, right? The crucial 42. The Padres went 22-17. Not bad so far in the crucial 42.
Still have 1 series left, at Milwaukee series.
With 1 series left. That's not a bad performance out of the Padres. Now, the final 31, when you had 31 games left and you were tied with the Dodgers, the Padres have gone 9-13 and the Dodgers have gone 11-10. Again, another missed opportunity. But as we've talked about before, we'll continue to talk about when it comes to this Padres team, you are now thinking Chicago. To quote James Franklin on a Fat Man Friday. It's Fat Man Friday, Frank. Get excited for Penn State football. To quote James Franklin, because this is what he does every single press conference of the week. He talks about his next opponent. That's who they're focused on. Well, right now, the only real opponent, well, it's actually got to work out even better. Chicago, Chicago, Chicago. Now, you can think about that as the White Sox, or you can start thinking about that as the Cubs. You're going to have to come back here in like a couple of weeks. The Padres will be playing the Cubs in the first round of the playoffs. That is like 90% certain. The good news is you're in the playoffs, which is great. I mean, they're not officially clinched yet, but despite everything that's been played out, I mean, the Padres with a couple of wins are going to be in there anyway. The magic number is 4, as I mentioned. They're 4 wins away from making the postseason. That's assuming the Diamondbacks and Reds don't lose. So, when looking at the Padres, that needs to be the main focus. And there's a couple of things. Now, I want to get into this at 11. Letters to AJ had a good piece about margin call part. He's had this margin call series where he has been talking about winning on the margins and the little things that the Padres have been doing. And he lays out how their at-bats have changed in the month of August and September, where they're actually getting a lot more slug than they were at the beginning part of the year. Way more slug. He talks about Merrill, Tatis, and Machado hitting way more home runs. In fact, the Padres, in the month of September, have the top 10 home run rate in Major League Baseball. Seattle's got the most, obviously. They got Cal Raleigh hitting a bunch of home runs. Followed by the Yankees. Well, there's Aaron Judge and Trent Grisham with the insane season that he is having. They lead the field. But the Padres, in terms of home run rate and home runs in the month of September, are top 10 in baseball. So things are changing for the better when it comes to overall slug for the Padres. I mean, this is the team that everybody's complained about has no slug. Well, they're starting to get slug at the right time. And look at the teams in the month of September that have had high slug and have had high home run numbers. Seattle, playoff team. Yankees, playoff team. Phillies, playoff team. A's have been up there. They also played a bandbox in Sacramento. That's neither here nor there. Mets, playoff team. Dodgers, playoff team. Giants, 2 games out of a playoff spot. Padres, Angels, Cubs, also a playoff team. The only other playoff teams that are not in that top 10 of home runs in the month of September are teams like Toronto, who's at 13. And I look through more. Milwaukee's 25th, Boston's 26th. But other than that, all the teams, or should I say the majority of the teams that are going to be playing in October, have a top 10 home run rate in September. They have top 10 in terms of home runs in the month of September. And the Padres are trending in the right direction. And there's something that Letters to AJ pointed out with the way that the game transpired on Sunday that I think is very important for October. And it starts with the lineup. It starts with a more modernized lineup for the San Diego Padres that they had on Sunday against the Rockies. And you can say what you want about playing the Rockies, but they were able to do this without Manny Machado and Luis Ariz in the lineup. And so when you look at this article, and we're going to break it down at 11. If you haven't looked at it yet, go read it. Letters to AJ.substack.com. It's his piece on margin call part 4. It's very fascinating, but it honestly, as bad as the Padres have played, the process in which that they are going about offensively is a change in the right direction and is actually, to me, a real sign of excitement for the postseason. Now, however they decide to make the lineup, I think will remain to be seen. But there's a couple things that they pointed out in there that kind of, I don't know, pull the exact same card that we've been saying on the show for so long. Frank, what is our show slogan?
Right, but too early.
Right, but too early. There's some stuff in there that shows that we're right, but just too early. So as bad as this last couple of months have been, I like the process of them transitioning into a more slugging offense because you're not going to just be able to just turn the slug machine on and drastically change everything. It's not possible in baseball. It's not possible. And a lot of the biggest problems that we have as fans is, again, one, viewing this team in a vacuum where we don't look at everybody else in baseball to see where everybody else stands, but also at the same time, over-evaluating individual games. It's fun to do on the radio, though. So, when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, we're going to overanalyze the last two games that we missed since our last show on Wednesday. Good game on Wednesday night. Positive signs. And there were some things that happened in that game, too, that I want to point out that was mentioned in the letters to AJ Substack about the approach, about the lineup change, and about, here's the thing, Padres being a team that can bunt and hit the long ball. At least they've done it in the last month. And why there is a case for bunting in the way that the Padres have been doing it. We'll explain that when we come back, as well as talk about the last two games in New York. Braden Surprenant Show, off and running on a Friday. San Diego's number sports station 97 through the Fan. We're going to get to the manager's report later on in this hour. So we'll tell you what happened earlier today on the manager's report with Mike Schilt, refreshed by Eco Water SoCal. We're going to do that when we come back. So yesterday, hopefully everybody enjoyed their Padres day game off day. Frank, did you have a good off day? I know you're trying to read something, but
I did, yes. I had a very enjoyable, relaxing day off. Did absolutely nothing.
That's fantastic.
That's how I wanted to keep it. I had the show done by like 1:30, so we were all good there.
I went to jury duty, which is great. So much. It's so great.
You did find a hack for jury duty, though.
I found a hack, and I know it's a scam with the parking down there, but I didn't care because I didn't want to take the public trans.
Should we not say the hack so this way it doesn't change, or do we enlighten everyone on what the hack is?
I will. I'm just gonna say this: the later in the week you go, more likely you're probably gonna get sent home early. That's basically what I'm gonna say. I think a lot of people already knew that. I discovered that yesterday. So if you want to go back and think about for a second, like what days to potentially go on, days after holidays, probably a good day to rearrange your jury duty too. The other days, I don't know. Let's think about what's today, what was yesterday. That was the day I went. That is the hack. That's basically what I'm going to say. I think that's a fair way to say it, Frank. I think that's fair.
Well, I mean, yeah. If you don't want to spell it out without spelling it out, pretty much. Yeah. But then again, with the Spotify and with watching on YouTube, yesterday could have been like Sunday for all we know, depending upon what day you're listening to this.
You don't have to report for jury duty. It's not optional. They will send a bench warrant out, which means if you get pulled over, they have it. You will be arrested. So there's probably other legalities to that just to scare people. But it's probably shouldn't skip it. Like, you should probably at least try to tell them, like, you can't be there.
Padres diehard, I'm guessing the next tip you're going to give us is that taxes are optional as well?
Yeah, I heard taxes are optional. No, they're not. I can't even say this as like a joke because people are going to lose their mind. It's my civil duty. That's right. That's right, Manny. Do your civil duty. I've never been picked for a case ever.
He said civil.
I've never been picked for a case. I've never even made it through the process. I just sit in that building the whole time and I get work done. And they're like, well, make sure you know that you're helping out and everything like that. I'm like, I know I am. I don't need the reassurance. I don't need to be told that I'm helping the community by being here as a negotiation tactic. I get it. It's part of the deal. I picked a day where I had the day off so I could do it. Otherwise, I'm not taking a show off to do it. But I went down. You know how much I had to pay for parking down there?
$20.
$40.
Jesus.
And they only had the option you had to pay the entire day. $40. What a monopoly parking companies are. They were like, oh, you could use Spot Hero. I guess I could. I didn't really want to walk 10 miles to get to wherever the Spot Hero parking was. You know what? It would suck if you had I don't know if it's part of the little zone. You got jury duty on surge pricing day with the Padre game going on. Oh, you might as well take the trolley.
I would have taken the trolley anyway.
I had too many things to do that day. I had to take the trolley and then go here and then go there and then go there, and it just wasn't going to happen. So you know what I did? I made it a positive. Okay, I got a lot of work done. I got all my notes done for USD volleyball, who won last night over Yale.
Congratulations!
That was a home opener, brand new. So they got this brand new court now at USD.
Oh, really?
So they have the court for basketball, and now they have this like vinyl cover that is a volleyball court.
Nice.
It's industry standard. I forget what they call it. They had it in the game notes, and we mentioned it 1,000 times, but it wasn't enough for me to remember off the top of my head what it was. But it's nice. Like, I walked out, and it's like a little mat on top of the court, and it makes it look like the arena is built for volleyball.
That's called knowing and not caring. Is what that is.
Yeah, it's like tough Terra something. I don't know. So I asked, and all the women on the team are like, "Do we love it? It feels better on your legs, like your body, like when playing on it. You're playing on hard surface could hurt your joints, everything like that. The other thing too is when you slide, you could just go all over the place.
Nice.
It's great. So they beat Yale. Interesting fact about Yale's head coach, Erin Appelman. She played volleyball at USIU. Do you even know what that is? That is Alliance International University now over in Scripps Ranch. She played there twice for 2 years and then played at San Diego State, class of 1990.
Congratulations.
She got 3 San Diego girls on the team. Great.
There you go.
And they have a 3-game road trip here. They played USD last night. They got UC San Diego tonight, and they got San Diego State tomorrow.
Nice.
How about that? What a great little local connection, huh? Jen Petrie and company got the dub. They're off to a good start. And I'm telling you, like with the new video board at the JCP and the new volleyball, it's a cool place to watch volleyball. So if you have a daughter that plays volleyball, and we have a lot of great local club volleyball programs like Wave and Coast, and I don't know the other ones, but those are the biggest ones I can think of. You watch USD volleyball play. They're 6-3 now.
Did Jen recognize you tonight?
Jen did.
There you go.
How about this? I melted in my chair. So they go to a timeout, and at that point they'd switch sides, so they're on the side here. And I'm like, I'm doing some work, and I look up. Jen gives me a wink. I almost melted in my chair. I was like, all right, it worked out. She actually does know who I am. I'm on their Instagram. Like, I do the pregame videos and stuff like that. I just didn't know. I got the wink from Jen Petrie. Night mate. It's great. It's awesome. I told Jack Cronin I was doing the game. He's like, yep, she remembers you. Perfect. We're off to a great start. I mean, to me, it's different. Like, my relationships with the teams at USD are very, like, it depends on the team. Some teams want more access to media, want more stuff done. I'm more involved with those programs. Some programs, like, don't even, like with women's basketball over there, and I haven't been able to talk to Blanche yet, but with women's basketball for a long time, I had no idea. They never talked to me, nothing. Didn't know anybody in the team, nothing. In fact, one of their girls graduated. I did like 3 years of her games. She graduated. She had no idea who I was when she came to be the color analyst for like 3 games until I started talking. And then she was like, "Oh, that voice sounds familiar." I'm like, "Yeah, I've all the highlights you guys would post. That's my voice." So anyway,
that's me. I'm the guy.
Yeah, that's me. Here's the face to the voice for the people that watch on YouTube. So the USD game last night was fun for volleyball. So what I did was I got all this work done. I even started doing some film breakdown for future opponents. Great for football. I was just proficient at jury duty.
Brother was adulting while he was sitting doing nothing.
Yeah. No, adulting would be like booking like mechanical going to DMV appointments, all the stuff that like adults have to do. I was still doing fun stuff. But I went down to I cashed in. I was thinking of Rod. I was like, I'm down here. Mona Lisa's for lunch.
Attaboy.
I mean, that was the play.
Look at this guy.
That was the play. Now, did I have to pay for parking again down there? Yeah, I did. I was just writing checks to the government and Ace. Really just Ace. I was just giving Ace my paycheck, essentially. And I know there are ways around it. I was being lazy. I don't care. Whatever. Take the $40. I don't want to do this.
Wait, you parked in a lot for Mona Lisa's?
It was booked, dude. Their lot was full.
Oh, okay.
Their lot was full, and I didn't have too much time, and there was a spot, like, they were down the street that was like $1, and I was like, all right, dude, I'll just park here for like 25 minutes, 30 minutes. So I drove down, I picked up Mona Lisa's on the way back. I had to come back here to print my boards for USD volleyball. I had to go to football practice. I had a lot of stuff. So I go to Mona Lisa's, walk in. You always got to ask, are we taking tickets today? Are we taking numbers today? Because some of the little Italian ladies, they just go up there and start ordering, and they just give them exactly what they want. They just skip the line. So I got the number, went through, and here's the deal.
Those are called regulars.
Yeah, understand. Just start speaking in Italian, I guess, and you'd be okay. Unfortunately, my great grandmother, who was fluent in Italian, did not pass it along to my grandmother because they wanted to assimilate to the United States. So I don't know Italian.
There's a thing called Duolingo that you can go on.
You know what? If I did Duolingo just to order at Mona Lisa's, I'm just saying. Back to Mona Lisa's. So I get there. I almost bought half the store. I decided not to. I was hungry, and there's a lot of things there that I like, a lot of delicacies that I like. But I ordered my sandwich. Now, here's the thing. Previously, they used to have it on their website that you could get your sandwich on focaccia or ciabatta bread. They had taken that off. So I didn't know if they still did that or not. I know that most of their employees are not Italian. I understand that. Okay. So I'd always thought about asking. And then some guy said roast beef on focaccia. And I was like, oh, I wonder if they have ciabatta. But do you think I would ask if they had ciabatta? No, I'm afraid of getting yelled at by the deli guy. I don't want a soup Nazi thing. I don't want one of those things, okay? I don't need to be an episode of Seinfeld or Curb Your Enthusiasm and get banned from Mona Lisa's, okay? It's too good of a place. I was too worried about that. I was sweating bullets. So I'm peeking in the back to see if they have ciabatta bread. I'm trying to see it. I see the focaccia, and I see the regular rolls. I do not see the ciabatta. So I'm having a little bit of a, all right, do I ask? Do I not ask? If I ask, am I willing to give this place up and never come back because I get banned for asking a stupid question? No, I was not willing to do that. I was waiting to hear. They had another guy, spicy chicken on focaccia. I'm like, no. Nobody's ordering ciabatta. I can't find it on the website. Obviously, they took it off the menu. It's like a secret menu item. There's no secret menu Mona Lisa's page. That is. I agree, Nick. So, you know what I did? I decided to go with the focaccia. I got the 18, which is the spicy whatever. Soprasset, capicola, pepperoni. I don't really need the pepperoni. Like, I'd rather have it be mortadella, but I'm not making special orders. I don't want to get banned. All right. That's a place that would ban me if I made special orders like that. So I said,
don't start spreading misinformation about
I'm respecting
Mona
the deli.
Lisa's.
I'm respecting the deli. I'm respecting the deli. Don't be complicated. Order what they got. I was already going to put on focaccia. If I go up there and start throwing different things on there and everything like that, I'm getting yelled at. I just, that's my insecurity there, which I don't want to do. So I ordered the 18 and I said, hey, man, I'll do fresh mozz. Got to get the fresh mozzarella on there. So I get the fresh mozzarella and I said, can I get it on focaccia? He's like, I got you, brother. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to just, favorite child of the family at this point. It's hard to do because my sister is always going to win that battle, but she's in Nashville. Okay. So this is a great chance for me to strike. This is a great chance for me to strike. You know what I did? I got my parents. I didn't even ask. I didn't even ask. 2 number 8s, fresh mozz, please. On rolls. Yes, absolutely. I got you, bro. Nice. Nux. Wait for the orders. I picked up some chips, a soda, got my sandwiches, headed out. Texted. Did I text my parents individually? No. I had to throw that in the group text with my siblings.
What a butt kisser.
That's right. That is right. Butt kisser. And I said, you know what? Hey, I just went to Mona Lisa's. I got myself a sandwich. My sister immediately goes, I'm jealous, because that's like the one thing we do as soon as we get home from like any trip. You go to the airport, you go to Mona Lisa's. Okay? So she's jealous. I respond, you could always move back. That's obviously a point of contention in the family.
Butt kisser with zero empathy, too.
Mom and dad want sit back, not in Nashville. So bang. That's first haymaker number 1. My brother starts freaking out, and I go, and he doesn't say anything yet. And then I text, by the way, mom and dad, I got you guys a sandwich. I got you each a sandwich, and number 8, fresh mozzarella. Great.
By the way, hooked y'all up.
That's right. My brother, who does not, live in the house anymore, he immediately goes like, you didn't get me a sandwich? I'm like, you don't live at home. I don't know what the hell. I don't know what to tell you. You could go down and get your own sandwich. I just cha-ching all over it. I made it a day. I wanted to get a bunch of stuff from Mona Lisa's.
You should have.
I love the octopus salad. The octopus salad's great. Some dude in front of me ordered it like calamari. The guy's like, it's not we don't have calamari. And I'm like, this guy's getting banged right now. He's going to get kicked out. And he was like, no, that thing right there. He's like, that's octopus. He's like, is it spicy? He's like, I'm like, this guy's asking too many questions. Get him out of line. Get this guy out of line. Get him out of here.
Is a fish taco shaped like a fish?
By the way, calamari squid, that's octopus. There's a difference. The octopus salad's just top notch. Top notch. So anyway, I made it a day, okay? I had a day. And you know what's upsetting is Rod is not in the chat yet. This is stuff that Rod would eat up. You know what? And I didn't even I forgot Rod's gift card he gave us. So I just
good job.
I almost brought it on the way down to on the way down to jury duty. I almost brought it, but I decided not to.
I gave it to my dad.
Nice. You know what? Brown noser. There you go.
Well, I knew he
What
would.
a kiss ass.
I knew he would go down there before I did. That's why I gave it to him. And that was actually the case. He went down there before I did.
Anybody mind if we have a day? Anybody mind if I have a day? It was great. So I came home. I ate the Mona Lisas. I had the Padre game on. That was frustrating to watch. Went to football practice. Did the walkthrough. Went down to USD.
Which was
the game.
frustrating to watch.
The walkthrough. I watched the freshman team. Shout out to Don's freshmen. They beat Helix 26-3 or something like that.
Boys,
good for them.
Job.
Good for the freshman squad. And USD won. It was a lot of wins yesterday. I took a fat L with the parking, but everything else was a lot of wins. Anyway. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. We're going to talk about yesterday's game and the day before Wednesday, and we will talk more. Oh, actually, we'll hear from Mike Schilt and what he said on Ben and Woods this morning as part of our manager's report, which is refreshed by EcoWater SoCal. We'll talk about that when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego Summer Sports Station, 97 through the Fan. $10:40 on a Friday. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. It's Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We got some great sound from the morning show today as part of the manager's report. We're going to talk about what happened earlier today on the manager's report with Mike Schilt, refreshed by EcoWater SoCal here in just a second. A lot of things to ask him right now. There's 9 games left. And as I mentioned before, the state of the Padres, right? State of the Padres. And I know I talked about, like, we're going to get into the games against the Mets in the next hour. There's some things that we want to talk about with that was laid out by letters to AJ in his Substack, which was really good. The most recent one was on, margin call part 4. He's been doing a lot of these margin calls because he talks about a lot and he Substacks about the Padres winning on the margins. And at least that's been the identity of this team for a long time now. With Mike Schilt is that marginal team, winning on the margins and doing some of the little things right, which I think is going to lead to success in the postseason. There's some things that are laid out properly in that we're going to get to. But here's everything you need to know about where the Padres are at right now. They, as I mentioned in the open, they are the 5 seed. That's it. Like, there's a chance. Another spot, there's a chance they could be the 6, slim, because they got a 4-game lead on the Mets. There's a chance that they could get the division, but they're 3 games behind. I mean, there's slight chances on these things, but with 9 games left, I'm telling you right now, they're the 5 seed. So just be locked in on the fact that you guys are playing Chicago. We are playing Chicago. The Padres are playing Chicago. To quote James Franklin, as I mentioned before, Chicago, 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 Chicago. Now, I know they're playing the White Sox this weekend, which kind of actually makes this even better because now I can say it's like, well, you're not really looking ahead to Chicago because you got Chicago this weekend. But I digress. Cubs, 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 Cubs. I mean, that's the focus from here on out. Your either last series of 2025 will be in Chicago against the Cubs, or it will be the first of many in the postseason. I mean, that's where you're at right now. It's all about the Cubs. You got to be thinking about, how is this team going to beat Chicago in Chicago for a playoff series? And I hate the fact that it's a wild card season, because I would have loved to have gone to this, but obviously in the middle of the week, and it's just not going to happen unless the shows go on the road to Chicago. Hey, Adam. Hey. We're willing to fly up there. Hey. It's also De La Salle week for me, so I don't know how that's going to work. Then I'd have to fly to San Francisco. So, instead of having show meetings on the air, I'll just have my own life meetings on the air so everybody in the city knows exactly what I'm doing. All right. Cubs. So that's really the focus. So I'm not going to focus on they asked them at the end of the interview the question about, whether or not he cares what the Dodgers do anymore. I don't really care about that. But let's talk about postseason things. Earlier today, here's what happened earlier today on the manager's report with Mike Schilt, refreshed by EcoWater SoCal. They asked him about his style in leading up to the postseason. His changes, his managerial style, does it change at all as they get closer to the postseason? Here's what Mike said.
Preparation, and if you get to a certain point in the season, or you get to a playoffs, and you feel like you've got to do something more, you probably hadn't done what you were supposed to do in order to have gotten there. And the body of work for the everyday being important, and the most important game of the year that particular day, mindset, really does lend you to not only getting there, but when you do get there, normalizing. Now, that being said, clearly, the games are a little different in a sense of, it's, you got to go. You got to figure out a way to shake hands and move on and win series. And, that's one of the reasons I consistently talk about the importance of winning series and getting better as the series goes, and recognizing what's taking place and giving yourself the best chance to win a series, because that's what it's going to take to 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 get to the playoffs, advance in the playoffs, and win a World Series. So, but the way you operate during some of the playoff games and this time of year can be a little different in the sense of how you navigate, because there's real urgency to each game.
Mike Schilt earlier on the morning show today. I mean, I think there is a little bit of a stylistic change. I think yesterday, and he mentioned this, I mean, he managed yesterday's game like it was a playoff game, not like a game in May. But at the same time, like, they haven't let Randy Vasquez really go that deep into a game at all this year. We're going to talk more about that later on in the show. I think a lot of people were head scratching on the why did Randy Vasquez come out. Here's the deal. I didn't mind Mike Schilt's explanation. I didn't mind it. It just didn't work. Like, you're upset because it didn't work. The thought process makes sense. And again, I mention this all the time on the air. When Mike gets Mike Schilt gets super defensive about everything in his post game pressers. Like people are trying to get him sometimes, and maybe they are. I don't know. I don't really feel that all the time. But like yesterday, a lot of people are concerned about, like, why did they take Randy Vasquez out? I got the explanation. Hey, we're treating it like a playoff game, which in a playoff game, guess what you would have done? You would have taken out Randy Vasquez. A lefty's coming up. They believe in Wandy Peralta. The fan base believing in Wandy Peralta and the team believing in Wandy Peralta are two totally different things. If they believe in him and that's their guy, they like the lefty-lefty matchup. He worked through he talked about the whole process. You know what? It didn't work out. But I get it. Hey, I'm a fair guy. You explained to me the thought process and why you went about that particular move. I get it. All right, that makes sense to me. I can see that way. I might disagree with it, but I see it. So it's not. I don't think it's an unfair thing to be like, oh, okay. And there's obviously something with the Padres where they don't want to have Randy Vasquez go deeper into games. I mean, they have given him not a lot of opportunities to do that. And he is quick hook. But again, if you're going to manage yesterday's game like a playoff game, that's what they said. That's what Mike said. In a playoff game, if that game's on the line, are you leaving Randy Vasquez in? Because here's the deal. Here's the other thing. If they left Randy Vasquez in and he gives up a bomb, then everybody freaks out. Why didn't you go get Randy? I mean, you can't be. You know what that is? It's called being a windsock. So I get it. You could disagree with the decision at the time, but don't dislike it because it didn't work out. Because if Wandy Peralta went in there and shut down Brandon Nimmo, nobody would be freaking out about it. I understand his reasoning behind it. That's all I really ask for. Now, back to what he said on the morning show. You got 9 games left. Now, here's the deal. I mentioned it before. You're the 5 seed, okay? You're not getting the division, and you're not dropping down to 6, and you're going to be in the playoffs. There's really, I mean, aside from just getting yourself ready for Chicago, there's not a lot to be playing for. You are playing to get ready for Chicago. So with that, do you go about getting guys some rest? Here's what Mike Schilt had to say.
Not difficult. I mean, like I said, we've going back to spring training throughout the course of the season. Again, normalized how we compete. The guys that have come in since the trade deadline have fit right into how we think about playing and their dedication and preparation and competition. And so it's really just go out and continue to play. And always, I just love the way Toddy summarized it. I use it a lot, but just do what the game calls for, and the game it's the best shot we can take every day.
That's him talking about whether or not he's going to give guys some rest or if they're going to let them lock in for the next 9 games. The ability to flip the switch in October. We've talked about how difficult that might be. We've seen some teams do that for the Padres before. And again, once you get to the postseason, it's a different season. You can just throw the regular season out. You're starting anew. Does the team have the ability to flip the switch in October?
Yeah, I do. I completely think that's the case. Yeah, I mean, when you say turn on, I understand, we started out with like a house of fire, and, that was a high bar that we set, and clearly we want to continue to maintain and work towards that bar. But yeah, I absolutely feel like we can, proverbial catch fire and just take this thing down. So I do believe that, but you've done something well over the course of a season to be where we're at now. So I feel like the consistency, while clearly everybody would like it, including myself, even to be a little better. We're always looking for better, but the body works pretty good. And, let's just go play winning baseball and consistent baseball. And, we do want to be clearly at our best, and I expect that to happen, from here on out.
Flipping of the switch. The most interesting clip, I think, is the Dylan Cease deal, because nobody else's starting rotation is really like pitching themselves into a rotational spot in the postseason, with the exception of Nick Pivetta. But Dylan Cease has a couple of starts left, potentially, including one against his former squad in the Chicago White Sox. Is Dylan Cease, who's starting tonight against Davis Martin, is Dylan Cease pitching right now for an opportunity to be on this playoff roster?
Yeah, I think that, everybody's in competition, but we do know what we have, and, the stuff plays that Dylan has. And, he's been pitching really better more recently, consistently, and excited to have him pitch tonight, and optimistic about him moving forward.
Not a lot of long-winded answers today from Mike Schilt as compared to the last manager's report we had. What's the latest update on Xander Bogaerts?
A long-winded answer.
Nice.
Gaining optimism every day with Bogey. He's been in Arizona since he left on Sunday. When we went to New York, he went to Arizona. That was a travel day for him. And, every day this week he's gotten, some real heavy workload, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, a little lighter day yesterday. But, the summary of it is he's doing almost every baseball activity we'd want him to do, and getting a lot of at-bats from the, the guys over in Arizona that they're participating in what they call bridge camp, and now instructional league starting, I think. But, he's getting a lot of at-bats, getting his ground balls. He's getting on the bases. So he's getting closer, and he's recovering well. The thing that was really, fired us up and we were excited about was, he had a more of an aggressive day, and then the next day felt good. Had another aggressive day, so back-to-back aggressive, a lot of more intensity rather. And then the following day felt even better. So the recovery component has been favorable for Xander, and that's clearly good news. And, we'll see and make sure he's still progressing. And, to your point, he's a guy that we do rely on. He's been a guy that's been out for a while, and, we've been able to do some things and get a little bit creative with Crony going over to short, Louis going to second, and that's been good, and creates a little more opportunity for another left-handed bat in there. But you are talking about a guy in Bogey that has been a mainstay in our lineup the last couple of years, that's contributed to winning and has 2 world championships under his belt, and those kind of experiences and that kind of player is going to be good to get back.
That's all great news on Xander Bogaerts. This team could use him back in the lineup. Help lengthen the lineup a little bit. I mean, I got to look at like what the record is without Xander Bogaerts in the history of the Padres for the last couple of years. But when he's out, they don't win, or they play like 500 ball. I mean, he's obviously a major impact on this team.
Shame we traded him back in June, though.
That is a shame. It's a shame we traded him back in
him.
June. Yeah, we DFA'd that guy, but he's going to be helping us out in the playoffs, which is great. It'll be good to have him back in the lineup. So that was a lot of the clips from Mike Schilt. If you want to go back and listen to that interview, you can. It's podcasted already. There's some things on what he's seeing differently in Jackson Merrill lately. He's on Jake Cronenworth stepping up lately, talking about Ryan O'Hearn's current slump, whether or not he cares what the Dodgers do anymore. How did Michael King recover after Monday? I mean, those are all things that you could go back and listen to if you want. I think we played the more important ones. But again, like, here's the deal with the Mike Schilt stuff with yesterday with Randy Vasquez. I could disagree with what he did. But at the same time is like, can he justify the answer? And to me, I thought he justified his answer and gave us a reason why he decided to go the way that he did. I don't think you can criticize guys like I don't think you can criticize those decisions like that. I really don't. Because here's the deal. He's testing his product on the field every day. What do you got? Nobody else is doing it. That's the only difference. His is getting tested. We're going to talk more about this week's games when we come back. Can't count on much, but you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Stream your local NFL game live every Sunday all season long, starting at just $30 for your first year. That's like $250 a month. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today. All right, Frank. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about the games that we saw in New York. Okay, we didn't get to. It's funny. One of my friends was like, "Oh, it's a shame you don't get to talk about the game that they actually did well in." I said I could. I mean, it seems like a couple of days ago, but they actually looked decent in the other game. And there's a couple of things that played out in that game that I do want to talk about. But like overall, the series in New York, by the way, you are the biggest curse when it comes to things that are guarantees.
What did I do?
You guarantee that the Padres are going to take 2 out of 3 against the Mets.
I did the same exact thing when they were here.
You also guaranteed that the Rockies
Did I
were not going to beat the Dodgers.
The
Rockies were not going to beat you can't rely on the Rockies beating the Dodgers. We both said that.
Okay, that's
happened.
just common sense.
Yeah,
like,
but you know
on.
what? I'm going to need you to change your approach on some things here since you're Nostradamus in the opposite effect.
No, that would be Nostradum.
With a 3-letter word after that?
Yeah, might have
been. All right. So we're going to blame the Mets. He didn't wear the Mets jersey, and the Mets took 2 out of 3. So let's throw Frank to the wolves here and blame him.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
I'm just a guy, dude. Just talking about sports. Leave me alone. All right. Let's talk about the game on Wednesday. That was the game in which the Padres won. That was the game in which the Padres got a grand slam and a Manny Machado. We're going to talk about that in a little bit more detail. Pivetta gave up 3 home runs, which is not awesome, but they were all solo shots, so you could take that. Power sticking around. We're going to talk about what letters the AJ said about the power. Went 4 for 8 with runners in scoring position. Multi-hit games from 5 different players. Top 3 in the lineup were 7 for 12 with a home run, 4 RBIs, 4 runs scored, and 3 walks. This is the team that a lot of people want to see. This is the team that a lot of people think that the Padres could potentially be. Unfortunately, this is the team that has not shown up more than once in a week. This is not the team that's consistently been showing. When this team plays like that on Wednesday, they can do damage in the postseason. But unfortunately, they haven't been able to do that for multiple days in a row. Your reaction of Wednesday?
No, I think you pretty much said it all. I mean, it's not ideal, obviously, to see Nick Pivetta giving up 3 home runs in a single game. One of them being reviewed, I believe. But yeah, I mean, that's just, with it being solo home runs, you can live with it. It's not like he gave up solo home runs to Luis Torrens and Luis Angel Acuna. He gave them up to Juan Soto and Pete Alonso, who, by the way, Pete Alonso got the Padres in the first inning of every single game this series. Why you continue to pitch to him, I have no idea. But
it's not just him, though. I mean, the Padres pitcher is getting ambushed in the first inning right now.
Yeah.
I mean, this is now a trend where opposing teams have jumped out with a home run early in games in the first inning. And they've done it against everybody.
Cincinnati?
They did it against Yu Darvish. They did it against Nestor Cortez. They've done it against Nick Pivetta. I mean, they did it against everybody. They're getting ambushed early. So what are teams jumping on early here? Tony Gwynn Jr. and Jesse Agnew were talking about this with Mason Miller, that the Mets didn't even want to swing in a slider. They're just sitting fastball the whole time. So what about the scouting report on the Padres pitching is getting these teams to ambush the starters early and often?
I would need to go back and look at game reports, but maybe it's a lot of fastballs in the first inning to get going. Maybe there's a trend as to starting the number 2 hitter off of the slider just to try to mix pitches in. Maybe that's there has to be some trend that other teams are seeing that is causing this.
Or Ruben Nieves is playing 4D chess, setting these guys up.
Yeah. Cincinnati, you're not going to make the playoffs, so let me set you guys up.
Putting it on tape early. These guys are going to see the tape. It's like Greg Maddux throwing some pitches that he knows he's going to get ambushed on, and then he's going to get him with a counter. Maybe that's the case. Hey, you know what? I wouldn't put it past guys like Ruben Nieva to play little games like that.
Well,
If you're going to give up bombs, you might as well do it in the regular season when you already know you're in the playoffs, huh?
Yeah, and also nothing quite like, fighting for a playoff spot, fighting for a division, and putting yourself behind in the first inning, too.
They
Nothing
obviously,
quite like it.
The fight for the division has been like just.
I'm just saying, like, you're still within reach of the division. You're just, and you're just giving games away in the first inning, forcing your guys to play from underneath all game. That's 4D chess there.
We're going to dive deeper into this, the way the lineup has looked the last couple of days. I mean, the slugging and everything like that, then the letters to AJ Substack, we're going to dive deeper into that later on. But I do want to mention, since we're talking about Wednesday's game, he uses it as an example. I want to take us through the top of the fifth inning.
Go for it.
Against the Mets on Wednesday.
And that was the grand slam inning, correct?
That is the grand slam inning. It's 2-2, top of the fifth inning. Peterson's still in the game, and Jake Cronenworth leads off. Okay, tied 2-2 in the top of the fifth. Jake Cronenworth led off with a hit by a pitch. He gets on base. Elias Diaz was up next. He had grounded into a double play in his last at-bat, and the Padres opted to have him sacrifice bunt Cronenworth to second base. Now,
fair.
When talking about this, and we've talked about this a decent amount, in letters to AJ, he's talked about the difference between sacrifice bunts and bunting for a hit, and using bunting to increase your what is called your run expectancy matrix, which is something that he really is super adamant about. And you could if you're super into those numbers, I'm going to bore you talking about it on the air. In fact, most of my friends were bored with it when they read the article, but I want to say this. I don't want to talk over. It gets to a different level. And when you start throwing numbers out there, it can confuse people. But just know this. If you're very interested in that, go to his Substack. He explains it. But essentially, when you do a sacrifice bunt, you are eliminating your opportunity for a big inning to just get one run instead of maximizing how many runs you can score in an inning. So he's against sacrifice bunts, but he doesn't mind bunts for hits. And when we take a deeper dive into this, the Padres have used that very well. They're still in the top in bunting in Major League Baseball, but there is some use for the way that the Padres bunt. And they're increasing their slug. The month of September has been great for slug. Even though on the scoreboard it didn't look like it, their numbers look more like average or above average Major League Baseball offenses with their home runs and their slug. In the month of September, they're a top 10 home run hitting team. I know that's crazy for people to understand, but that's the fact of the matter. So they opt to have Diaz to drop down a sacrifice bunt. Now, here's where it makes sense. Even though it's considered one of the least efficient plays in baseball, and it's always fair to question whether or not it's a good idea, it is also virtually assured, as mentioned in this article, that the lineup turned over to Fernando after they did this and puts Fernando at the plate with a runner in scoring position and less than 2 outs. So that's obviously a good chance that he'd be in a good spot. So now let's talk about this, Frank. I'm going to ask you this question. Jake Cronenworth's on second. Diaz drops down the bunt. It moves Jake to second base. And now the top of the order is up with Fernando and a base open at first and Arraez is on deck. What, as a Met, are you pitching to Fernando? Are you going after him or are you pitching around him?
No, I'm pitching around him.
I'm pitching around him. Because you got a guy on deck in Luis Arraez that has hit into 11 double plays this season. A guy that swings at almost everything. And again, this is the protection thing. As much as everybody likes to bitch, moan, and complain that Fernando's not putting the ball over the fence, this is where you have that situation. I know Arraez is on deck. And I know Arraez is not very fast. And I know Arraez is going to put the ball in play. And I know Arraez, at the very best, is going to hit a single. With 2 guys on base and force plays at every single base, that to me, defensively and as a pitcher, means I'm going to get this guy to ground out into a double play, right? Now, on the contrary, we do believe that Arraez is better with multiple guys on base instead. But from that perspective, you are not going after Fernando. He's not protected. It's not like you got a guy with slug or a guy with power or a guy that's scary following Fernando, where you would have to make a decision. In this particular instance, you're okay with pitching around to Fernando. What do the Mets do? They pitch around to Fernando.
Yeah, he saw 2 strikes that entire at bat. Every other pitch wasn't even close. And that called strike was not a strike. It was not close.
if you look at they only threw him one off-speed pitch in the zone, and then they had 2 other strikes, and they weren't close, and they worked around him, and Tatis walked to put runners on first and second. Again, this is where new Tatis is great. He's getting on base. He's improved his on base percentage. He's improved on his, he's striking out less. Okay, so his home run numbers are affected, but he is doing a great job as a leadoff guy, even though he's not hitting 1,000 home runs. All right, whatever. So Tatis walked to put runners on first and second for a rise. And again, as mentioned, he's grounded into 11 double plays this season. Arise is this player, like he's one of those players, like he does a lot of things that players don't do, right? For better, maybe for worse. I mean, he is a very unique baseball player in this day and age of Major League Baseball. One thing he always does is survey the opposing defensive alignment before stepping to the plate. He does it all the time. Go back and watch the highlight. I mean, you take a look. He sits there and he looks at the entire infield and where the other team is aligned. He does it like he's playing men's softball, like the ball's pitched underhand and he'll place it wherever he wants. And most of the time, he really can. So in the Substack, it shows the picture of what he exactly saw. And here's the thing. This is going to go back to the bunting deal. He's got the third baseman way off of third base. All season, when Luis Arraez has laid down bunts, the third baseman has been nearly even with the bag, which is a sacrifice spot, right? He's not going to make anything happen on that. But when you look at the graphic, when you look at the picture of what it was, and maybe I can share it for you real quick. If I can remember how to share screen on here.
Oh, and I got it here.
You got the picture?
Yeah.
We're going to show you on YouTube exactly how far off the third baseman was for the Mets.
And Vientos is not the greatest defensive player as far as a defensive fielder is concerned.
Okay, so this is what Arraez saw. Vientos is way off the bag, and he's got the hole here. There's one out and runners on first and second. As letters to AJ lays out in terms of the overall lineup of how far players got to be, defensively, it's like average start distance around like 129 feet from third base. That's a perfect spot to drop down a bunt for a hit. Not for a sacrifice. That's for a hit. So Arraez sees this, and then know what he does as we go back to our normal screen. Arraez comes up with an 0-1 count, drops down a bunt. Vientos charging, has no play as he is able to beat Peterson. That's the thing. You have to be able to beat the pitcher. And Arraez does that. And now, with Arraez dropping down a bunt, this is for a hit. That's not a typical Luis Arraez sack bunt. It wasn't a sacrifice at all. Reading the terrain, taking the right club out of the bag. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later. All of a sudden, the run expectancy change was more than that of a leadoff double. Because now you have bases loaded with one out. Now, if you had a leadoff double, okay, and this is he pulls up the run expectancy matrix. I don't want to bore too many people with that. But with the runner on second and no outs, you're expected to score 1.12 runs that inning. With the bases loaded and one out, you're expected to score 1.61 runs that inning. So, what you got was Cronenworth got hit by a pitch. They advanced him to second on the sacrifice bunt, which means top of the order is up. Fernando with Arraez on deck and one out. The strategy there is to pitch around Fernando to attack Luis Arraez. They pitch around Fernando. He gets on base. He works a walk. Arraez, noticing the defense was not ready for a bunt and was playing off, he drops down a bunt for a hit. So now you have the bases loaded with one out, and it increases your run expectancy to 1.61 during that inning. And now, here's the deal. With run expectancy, that is assuming that an average Major League Baseball player is coming up. Who, Frank, bats after Luis Arraez?
Manuel Arturo Machado.
Is Manuel Arturo Machado an average baseball hitter? Is he an average hitter in Major League Baseball?
No, he's not.
No, he is not. He is definitely an above average hitter. In fact, some of them were early to say he's a future Hall of Fame hitter in Major League Baseball.
I don't think some are willing to say that. I think that's a lock.
It's not a guarantee. Nothing's a guarantee, so I have to throw it out there. So then you got Manny Machado up with a 3-2 count. The bases loaded and 1 out. What does he do? He deposits a off-speed pitch into left center field. Padres get a 4-run inning. And again, that is them utilizing some small ball. That is them utilizing some different outcomes. And that, as laid out in this margin call by letters to AJ, that we'll tie deeper into a dive later on this hour when talking about the game against the Rockies, because I think a lot of that has to do with lineup construction, which I think is great. The question is, what club are you pulling out of the bag? This Padres team has the ability to do multiple things. I said that in April. I said in April, you like a team that could do it all. And right now, they're adding more home runs to their repertoire. They're letting these guys swing for the fences. They're letting them swing for high slug. They have spent the entire year playing small ball, knowing how to bunt. And now you have an overall all-around team built for October of being able to do whatever the game throws at them and understanding that they get the caddy telling them what club to use. We swinging deep, we working a walk. We dropping down a bunt for a hit, we're trying to drop it down a bunt for a sacrifice. I mean, that all played out in that inning. A hit by a pitch, which led to a sacrifice bunt, which led to a pitch around Fernando for a walk, which led to a rise, noticing that Vientos was more than way off the bag, to drop down a bunt for a hit, to get bases loaded for Manny Machado in a tie game, 2-2. He deposits ones over the fence, swinging for the fences. It's a grand slam. Padres win that game. They put up 4 runs in the 5th inning. That's laid out. And from that particular sequence, you have seen now what the Padres are capable of doing. And that's what I wanted to talk about specifically with Wednesday's game. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about Thursday's game, yesterday's game, and a little bit later on, we'll get to this entire take the right club out of the bag as laid out by letters to AJ. That's coming up next on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97 through the Fan. All right, so we talked about Wednesday's game. Kind of give you a deeper dive into the game within the game right there. We're going to talk more about that when we come back. Let's talk about Thursday's game. Here's the deal. I understand, and people are upset that I said this, but I understand the decision made by Mike Schilt. I get it. I don't agree with it, but I get it. And to be honest with you, I'm a fair guy. Okay, I get the explanation of why the Padres did. All right, fine. That's the path that they wanted to take. I don't think you could really criticize too much on a different way to do something. If they seem incompetent, they can't defend their decision, then I think you could make a comment about it. But let's talk about yesterday's game. Now, some of the notes that Frank put down in his evaluation of yesterday's game, we'll get to this. The one that's really glaring to me, and this is the biggest talking point of yesterday's game with the Padres, was the completely unforced bullpen game that they decided to go about with. When looking at yesterday's game between the Padres and the Mets, okay, Padres went down 1-0 again. Got ambushed again in the first inning. The starting pitcher got ambushed again in the first inning, which we've seen now a handful of times. And you look at how the game transpired. Padres ended up tying it back up in the third inning. But then you get to the bottom of the third inning. This is where, your starting pitcher, you're in a position right now where your starting pitcher in Randy Vasquez kind of needs to help the bullpen out, right? There's 9 games left. You want your bullpen fresh for the playoffs, and everybody keeps saying how they got to have the bullpen fresh, and you can't overuse the bullpen, and they're going to run out of gas and everything like this. This is a great opportunity to have at least get through 3 innings. But Randy Vasquez goes through 2 1/3. They decide to take him out in the third inning, and now all of a sudden it's a bullpen day, and there's no off day tomorrow or the next day. They're playing today. So again, top of the first inning, Padres get a couple of hits, can't do anything with it. Bottom of the first, ground out. Pete Alonso hits a home run again. Other teams' batters ambushing Padres pitching. Top of the second, get a hit. Can't do anything else with it. Bottom of the second inning, only give up one. They give up a leadoff single to Mark Vientos. Randy Vasquez settles in, gets the next 3 guys out. Top of the third, Padres able to get a run on a sacrifice fly by Luis Arraez. That scores Fernando Tatis Jr. We're tied at 1. Bottom of the third inning. Things start to not go very well for Randy Vasquez. But again, it's like, I think in the third inning is a time where he could probably work himself out of some problems here. Cedric Mullins hits a single, and then Lindor singles, and it puts runners on second and third, as Lindor was able to advance on a throw. Juan Soto comes up, and he grounds out to Arraez. Brings in a run. Mets have a 2-1 lead. Then Pete Alonso walks. And they probably were trying to pitch around him because they wanted to bring in, I guess, Wandy Peralta. So now you got bases loaded. with 1 out, Randy Vasquez pitching. And they decide to go to Wandy Peralta. Now, the explanation from Mike Schilt after the game was talking about how they were treating this like a playoff game and a playoff kind of vibe. And with a playoff game, you get into trouble, you're going to your bullpen because your bullpen's legit. But to me, I think that would be different if the Mets weren't winning. I'd rather take my chances with Randy Vasquez. I don't think Randy Vasquez gives up a home run. I mean, he is a pitch-to-contact guy, and he lets guys get themselves out. I know it's a righty-lefty matchup if you leave Vasquez in, but it's not like they were bringing in Adrian Morejon as a lefty to face Brandon Nimmo. It was Wandy Peralta. Now, this is what I said before. Just because the Padres fan base doesn't trust Wandy Peralta doesn't mean the Padres don't trust Wandy Peralta. The Padres believe in Wandy Peralta. His stats, again, have not been as bad as what people want to make them out to be. Would I have taken Randy Vasquez out? No, probably not. Not that early in the game. If it was the 4th or 5th inning, maybe. Probably the 4th. The 4th inning, maybe. Like, if you're playing playoff mode, let's just think about this from a playoff perspective. They would have taken him out in the 4th inning. But in the bottom of the 3rd inning with an out and the bases loaded, I mean, I'd take my chances. I mean, even if there's another ground ball or a fly ball, you give him a sac fly. Now you're down 3-1. Okay, fine. There's 2 outs. Let him work out of it. I would have rather taken that option. Now, the other option was to go to Wandy Peralta. Now, that's a different way to do it. That's a different way to do it. I can't argue against that. There's multiple ways to do this. Even though I don't disagree, that's another path. Like it's a logical path. Look, we're treating it like a playoff game. In this particular instance, we like the lefty-lefty matchup. We like Peralta versus Nimmo. That's what they're saying, okay? So I get it. We think we can get Peralta. We think Peralta could get Nimmo out, and we could get out of this thing only 2-1. That was the roll of the dice that they had. It's an aggressive play. Everybody at the beginning of the season, Frank, said they liked the aggressiveness. Now, all of a sudden, they don't like the aggression because it didn't work out. I'm just telling you, like, this is the deal. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. I disagree with their move, but I understand it. And the difference is Mike Schilt is getting his stuff tested every single day. My stuff's not getting tested. His stuff's getting tested. His ideas, the team's ideas, they're getting tested. Everybody else, myself included, we got nothing on the line. Our livelihoods aren't on the line watching this. Where I live, my money, for like my paycheck for my family, none of that are on these decisions like it is for Mike Schilt. Okay? So that's the difference. He's getting his stuff tested in real time. Nobody else is. So I will defend Mike Schilt in that particular mess. Again, if he came out and gave me some BS answer, we'd be talking about how dumb that move was. But you know what? He gave me a logical explanation. I disagree with it, but I understand it. Okay, I can understand that. It's not what I would do, but I can understand it. I'm not going to call him an idiot for it. That's not an idiot move. It's not. He's not stupid for doing that move. He's not. It's a different way to do it, and it didn't work out. That wasn't a bonehead move. Do I disagree with the move? Yes. But if he comes in, Peralta, and he strikes out Nimmo, and he gets Vientos to pop up or whatever it may be, and they get out of there 2-1, everybody's talking about what a great move it was. That to me is the difference. I don't think anybody out there that's been criticizing this play, and again, I disagree with the move. Relatively on your side, but I'm a fair guy. I don't think we'd have anybody bitching, moaning, and complaining about it if it worked out. Nobody would care. Nobody would have been like, that was so stupid. We got so lucky that Wandy Peralta got these. Nobody would have said anything. But it didn't work out. Don't be a windsock. And that's aggressive. We're going to the bullpen fast. That's aggressive. Letting this guy run out, a little conservative. Again, I disagree with what the move was, but I don't mind the thought process. It makes sense to me. When laid out the way that their process was, it makes sense to me. You had some opinions on this. You obviously didn't. We both agree, I think, that we didn't like the move, but I think Mike Schilt justified it. I'm like, okay, you know what? That's the plan they took.
Here's what confused me about the move is if you're going to do that with somebody, why is it Randy Vasquez? A guy who's not going to be pitching in the postseason. If you're going to do that, if you want to get a guy out of trouble, if you want to get a guy some extra rest to get him out early, why wouldn't you do it with Pivetta, who you know is going to be pitching in the postseason? Why wouldn't you do that with King, who you know is going to be pitching in the postseason? That was my biggest thing about it, was why Vasquez? You can pitch him until his arm falls off at this point because you don't care. You're not saving him for anything. He's got one more start this year. That's all he's giving you.
Yeah,
So,
I don't think he's going to start either. I
so
agree.
If you're putting yourself in the position where you're going to self-impose a bullpen game, why is it with Randy Vasquez? He should have no limit right now. He should have no ceiling. He should be throwing more pitches than he has thrown all season long right now because you're not using him again. He's done in a week. That's what made no sense to me.
What also doesn't make any sense to me is they have never let Randy Vasquez go anything. I mean, they just don't let him pitch.
Exactly. Yeah. And
it's head scratching. Look at his reaction when, go back and watch when they decided to take Vasquez out. His reaction to Mike Schilt walking out there.
He had one walk, so you can't say he's walking
you can't
guys.
even say he was walking guys. He had one.
He had one walk, and I think the start before that he had none.
Right.
So he's not walking guys anymore. It doesn't make sense.
I get the whole understanding on bringing a lefty in. Now, here's again, people are not understanding what I'm saying.
He struck out Nimmo.
Padres fans think Wandy Peralta sucks. Wandy Peralta, who's 6-1 with a 3.33 ERA for a bullpen arm, does not suck to Major League Baseball teams. Okay, the Padres obviously don't think he sucks. Otherwise, they wouldn't have gone to him. So even though emotionally Padres fans think this guy sucks, the Padres don't think that. They think they can rely on him. Okay, so regardless of whether or not you believe it or not, they're going to believe in their guys. And here's the other thing, too. I have not had to mention this too many times this year, but I have to say it. If he's in the bullpen, he's going to be used. They're not going to just sit there and never use this guy except for trash time.
Especially with how much money he's getting paid. He's getting paid $4 million this year.
Right. And here's the thing. Every time you put Wandy in, you know you're giving up runs. That's not true. Statistically, it's not true. Yeah, he's not always giving up runs. We talked about that the first half. Remember the first half that he had? Everybody thought he had one bad outing in New York, and he went through and was basically lights out for the remainder of the season. Mm-hmm. But people want to forget about that because they just don't like Wandy Peralta. He's not one of your high leverage arms. I will agree with that. Now, if you're going in playoff mode and you needed to get that guy out and you're going to go this early, it should have been Adrian Morejon if you want to really throw that out there. But I get it. They believe in Wandy Peralta. I'm not saying I do. They do. They also believe in other players doing. They believe in Luis Arraez batting second. I don't believe that either. I believe in Jackson Merrill batting second. In fact, so does letters to AJ. He brought up a very important note about the two-hole hitter that we will discuss when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. 11:42 on the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's number one sports station 97 through the Fan. Well, I guess we got to get to that in the noon hour. Probably have to. It's all right. Got to talk about San Diego State looking to rebound against Cal. That's a tough opponent to try to rebound against, especially when you lost to Washington State, who got their ass kicked by North Texas.
However, if you are a betting man, there is a statistic about this series as a whole that you might find interesting.
We'll talk about that in the 12 o'clock hour. We got a lot to get to now, and we're going to get to the sports thread here in a little bit because it's probably almost time for the sports thread. But I kind of teased it already, and so I'll tease this before we talk about it in fine detail at noon. Again, it's on the Letters to AJ Substack. It's very interesting. And he lays out, and we talked about the inning that was in which the Padres utilized bunts and different strategies to optimize as many runs as possible for run expectancy in the fifth inning against the Mets the other night. And that's on Wednesday when the Padres put up 4 runs in that inning, when they much needed 4 runs. He does the same thing on Sunday's game with the Padres, but talks a little bit more about lineup construction. And this is Sunday's game against the Rockies. Talks about Fernando batting lead up. So Sunday's game against the Rockies, we all remember the lineup, right? Fernando, Jackson, Ramon Laureano, Sheets, O'Hearn, Cronenworth, Iglesias, Fermin, McCoy was the starting lineup. But again, there's no Bogarts in that lineup. There's no Machado in that lineup. And Machado and Arise both had the day off. But it was interesting about the number 2 batter for the Padres. Now, here's the thing. A second spot in the order has become the most important spot in the eyes of many teams. Second spot nets nearly as many plate appearances as the leadoff spot, with significantly a higher percentage of at-bats coming with runners on base. We like Luis Arraez hitting with guys on base. I like Luis Arraez hitting with multiple guys on base. I would rather have Luis Arraez bat in a spot where there is a higher percentage chance that there's going to be runners on base. He goes through, based on batting order position, how many plate appearances they have per game with the bases empty, how many plate appearances with runners on that they average, and what percentage they have at bats or plate appearances with runners on base. You look at the leadoff spot, obviously it's going to be the least amount of percentage, with 36% of their at bats are going to come with runners on base. They have 3.11 plate appearances with the bases empty and a 1.72 plate appearances with runners on base. You look at the number 2 spot, obviously that grows. And they get to the 4th spot in the order. And the 4th spot in the order, 51% of their at-bats come with runners on base. 51%. What have we said about Luis Arraez, Frank? What do we like about Luis Arraez? We like when he bats with what?
With the mic on, first of all. Runners on base.
Runners on base. Where have we been saying you should bat Luis Arraez for the last, 3 or 4 months?
I've been saying 7, but
4 through 7. Now, look at it again. The 4th spot has the most at-bats or plate appearances, runners on base, 51%. The 5th spot's 48%. It's the same as the 3rd spot. The 6th spot in the order is 46%. Again, still one of the better spots. 7 in the order is actually the 3rd highest. 2.2 plate appearances with the bases empty, 1.94 with plate appearances with runners on base. The 4 spots that have the most are 3, 4, and 5. So I think around there would be great for a guy like Luis Arraez. For Jackson Merrill, here's the thing. The 2nd spot is also the least likely spot in the order to lead off an inning.
Aha.
In these particular observations, as laid out by Letters to AJ, have led most teams in Major League Baseball to slot their biggest sluggers into the 2nd spot in the order to take advantage of an additional base traffic and high at-bat totals. Do I need to read that again? I think I need to read that again. Who's been saying that? Who's been saying high slug guy in the 2 spot? Who's been saying it, Frank?
You.
No, say we, because
Well,
we've
we.
been saying
No,
it.
true.
Say we.
We.
Give yourself some
We.
credit. It
Okay.
wasn't just me. We. These observations by Major League Baseball teams have led most teams to slot their biggest and best, their best sluggers into the second spot in the order to take advantage of the additional base traffic and high at-bat totals. Who is the lowest in slug on the Padres?
Mason McCoy.
All right, smartass. Who is the lowest everyday player?
Luis Ariz.
Luis Ariz. The Padres have opted for a different tack all season, with Luis Ariz resembling a more traditional bat control number 2 hitter in willing participation in small ball. How's that worked out for the Padres? Okay, I guess. So that was someone I was teasing. We're going to dive deeper into that. And again, there's an inning. The first inning on Sunday's game really laid out what the Padres could be if they just move Luis Ariz down in the order. I hope they do it in October. I don't think they will. But you know what? It's a great case, and we'll talk about it at noon. Right now, we're going to talk about what else is going on in professional sports with today's Sports Thread.
You know that group chat? The one that's always blowing up with the biggest sports takes, debates, and breaking news?
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me?
Yeah, we've got that too. Welcome to the Sports Thread, where we break down the top 5 stories in sports, just like you would with your crew.
Oh, no! Disaster! What a bad idea!
No filters, no silence, just real talk.
All right, Frank, what do we got today on the Sports Thread?
Well, we got a news story that just came out. It's a miracle in Florida. Well, really, Kentucky.
This is a different Florida man story than we're used to.
Yeah. Florida prosecutors confirmed in a hearing on Friday that their key witness in a murder case of a former Miami football player is alive and was contacted Thursday by officers where he lives in Kentucky. ESPN reported yesterday that despite prosecutors stating in July that they tried every effort to locate 81-year-old Paul Connor and had a report of a commercial database that he was dead, journalists found Connor alive at his apartment in Louisville. Connor is the only eyewitness in the case of a former Miami football player, Rashawn Jones, who is facing a second-degree murder charges in 2006 shooting, who is facing a second-degree murder of his teammate, Brian Pata. Jones was arrested in 2021 and has pleaded not guilty. So basically, to sum up what I just said, Florida prosecutors, so Rashawn Jones is faced with second-degree murder of a teammate back in 2006. The only witness, the key witness, was stated by Florida prosecutors to be dead, has been found alive in Louisville, Kentucky. So
that sounds like a new update to the case that's not without the statute of limitations.
Yeah, my question is, why is ESPN, instead of talking about sports, doing an episode of Cold Case Files?
Because they don't talk about sports anymore.
That is also true.
When's the last time you watched ESPN not for a live game? I mean, we haven't had it on here since they pissed you off with the most exciting player in baseball article.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They don't watch sports. They don't talk about sports over there. They talk about nonsense.
I mean, I get it. It's sports related, but that is a Cold Case Files episode.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That is, it's insane.
Can't wait to hear the development on that. Hopefully that guy stays alive.
Yeah, hopefully, it's weird. Stranger things have happened.
Got put in witness protection.
One of the best comments I saw on that on Twitter was, guys, the guy got better. Like, what are we doing?
That's why you don't delete that app.
Exactly.
Every time you want to delete it, every time Frank wants to delete X or Twitter, it keeps getting pulled back.
I see something like that.
It's like golf. It's like him golfing, him going on Twitter, doom scrolling, and then that's hilarious. Moving on.
Exactly. There's always one.
Number 2.
I'm sure you guys saw this yesterday. Clayton Kershaw navigated a 15-minute news conference within an interview room stuff. Oh, for God's sake. Clayton Kershaw's retiring at the end of 2025. What will you take away from his career and time as a Los Angeles Dodger?
I mean, it's a little bit different and biased, obviously, for a Padres fan. He was a great player.
Yeah. Phenomenal
player. Great career.
Who, as Maggie Gray said during the most recent sports update or sports minute for Odyssey, said he was great, except in October when it mattered.
In 2020, he wasn't bad in October.
Well,
But that's the October
2020
that doesn't count,
Yeah,
right?
that was basically June is what that was.
He wouldn't do bad that. I will remember Matt Carpenter taking him deep in the Cardinals uniform in the playoffs.
There you go.
There you go. Go Frogs.
Number 3.
The Commanders' return to Washington is finally official as the District of Columbia Council voted in favor of the measure once more and expected an expected outcome given its vote more than a month ago. The council voted 11-2 on Wednesday to approve the RFK Stadium project, allowing the team to return to the site it called home for more than 3 decades. But a vote that has been considered been considered for a formality included last-minute requests that Commanders President Mark Klaus, said that could have jeopardized the agreement. Council had already approved the measure 9-3 on a vote on August 1st. After the vote, the Commanders were able to start planning their next steps toward building the stadium. However, earlier Wednesday, Klaus sent a letter to Council Chairman Phil Mendelson expressing concern over last-minute new demands, including an amendment that called for a $10 million penalty per year if the Commanders did not meet the timeline to build housing that threatened the project. So,
give me a break.
Commanders are moving back to Washington, D.C.
Good.
Even though they almost blew it.
Well, politicians like to screw things up all the time, don't they? They like to get their own. They like to get their own paychecks out of it. They like to throw in their own BS. Nothing holds up progress more than politicians.
That amendment was removed.
Yes, good. Stop it.
So
just stop getting involved. Politicians have to ruin everything.
Yep.
They just have to do it.
Especially when it's fun for us.
I don't care what political party it is. They just have to ruin everything.
Kansas and Arizona State are in discussions about moving their matchup next season to London's Wembley Stadium.
Hate it.
The football game, tentatively scheduled for September 19, 2026, will require schedule modifications by Kansas for the move if it can be finalized.
Hate it.
Yeah,
hate it. I don't even see why are we sending all of our top games and like real games to Europe when we get nothing in return. I hate it. I'm tired of watching the NFL go to
we get
Europe
the World
and
Cup
plays.
next year, sir.
Oh, thanks. Finally get something out of it. Why can't I get a Champions League game in the United States, huh? Why not? Maybe you'd grow the game a little bit more if you had the Champions League here.
You know what? If it's Inter or Chelsea, I'm all for it.
What about Inter playing Chelsea?
I would hate it.
Noon lunchtime hour when we come back.
Patrick Mahomes and the high-flying Chiefs invade the Big Apple on Sunday Night Football when they take on Malik Neighbors and the G-Men. Our coverage begins Sunday at 4:30. The NFL plays here on 97.3 The Fan.
You feel that warm breeze? That's the Mexican Riviera calling, telling you to come experience a vacation filled with sun, salsa, and sea views. Nobody does the Riviera like Norwegian Cruise Line, sailing right out of San Diego or LA. Your vacation starts the second you step aboard, with so much to do every day. Visit ncl.com, call your travel advisor, or call 1-888-NCL-CRUISE. Feel free to experience more at sea with Norwegian Cruise Line.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. GEG 000-466. For a full list of games and rules, play at 7 Mile Casino. Visit 7milecasino.com.
Hey, it's Better Woods here, reminding you that San Diego's best place to play cards is also its closest. 7 Mile Casino offers Texas Hold'em poker, California-style blackjack, high gal poker, and baccarat.
Make sure you get in on the weekend for their award-winning brunch from Sammy's.
It's so easy to get to. You don't have to drive into the East County. Just head down the 5 freeway to Chula Vista, get off Bay Boulevard right there on San Diego Bay. It's our place. Make it your 7 Mile Casino, just 7 minutes from downtown.
Seriously, my dealership just fixed the transmission.
We all know how it can be to go to the wrong place for transmission repair. Made up of over 800 pieces, the transmission is the most complex part of your car. So bring it to the transmission experts at AMCO. AMCO, always the right fix. AA MCO. Special financing of
San Diego, it's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime year.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
New Let's Time Hour on 97.3 The Fan, presented by the Craft Taco. Both flavors in Sorrento Valley and Balboa Park's Natural History Museum. Open late on Fridays for Nat at Night. Got Nat at Night tonight. Padre games earlier today. You can get the Padre game out of the way, go to the Nat at Night, get some Craft Taco if you would like. Or also, too, you can pick up some Craft Taco as you're watching the Padres and then go watch some high school football. We're going to be talking about that in the next segment or so. Talking about high school football in town. We got a lot of great games in town this weekend. We got the games that John Maffey picked in the Union Tribune, as well as other games. There's a huge game tonight, not in San Diego, but for high school football. So modern day Santa Ana, who's usually one of the best teams in the country, they lost that. Corona Centennial beat them up. Corona Centennial is pretty good. But modern day with the loss has now dropped to 8 in the country, and they are playing in Vegas this weekend against the number 2 team in the country in Bishop Gorman. That's going to be funny. That game got sold out. That game's already sold out. You can actually watch it live on maxpreps.com, which is kind of cool. So that's a big game coming up. We got a lot of good games throughout San Diego County. I will be at Helix High School tonight as the Dons take on the Helix Highlanders. Who's Olympian got tonight?
At Chula Vista.
That should be a win for Olympian.
Yep.
I would say. Are you going to go?
I am not going to go.
If they lose, it's your fault.
Brother, I need a couple days off. I've been running around to sporting events like a madman this last week and a half.
I was going to say, is that what for tomorrow's for? But you and I are going to the Aztec game.
Day off.
Come on, man. It's a 6:30 start. Earlier start time. Olympian and Chula Vista.
That's cool.
You could see one of the last grass fields in San Diego.
Brother, I'm good.
You didn't see that Super Bowl commercial they filmed at Chula Vista High School? I'm trying to sell it for you here.
I've seen grass before, man.
Have you?
I have.
Have you touched grass?
I have.
Maybe you should go touch some grass.
You know what? I will. As actually right now.
Olympians at Chula Vista at 6:30. I love how we have become the Olympian fan base show.
There you go.
Great. I still expect a full update on Monday how Olympian did.
That's cool. So do I.
It's your week to watch them. It is your week to watch them.
It's been my week to watch them the last 2 weeks. I drove up to Santee to watch them.
I know, but you won't go down the street. I'm just saying.
Bro, I need a day off.
Enjoy your day at the football game.
Going
Have a hot
tomorrow.
Dog.
Going to Snapdragon
soda.
Going to Snapdragon tomorrow. I will have been at Snapdragon more times in the last 7-day period than most employees at Snapdragon Stadium.
Sounds like you're making excuses.
Brother,
guy's not locked in. Doesn't want it bad enough. Doesn't want it bad enough. Hey, you could do that tomorrow morning. The game doesn't start till 7:30. What time are you going to Snapdragon tomorrow?
I don't know. What time are you going tomorrow?
I haven't decided yet.
There it is. See? So you're
do we
yelling
even
at me
have
for
parking passes? Like, do we
I got mine yesterday.
Oh, I gotta go look. I don't know if I got one.
I got texted one yesterday.
Oh, I did not get texted. I did not get texted one, so I don't have parking. Do I have a credential? Who knows?
That one you should have gotten emailed to you.
Okay.
Uh-oh. We've summoned him.
We have summoned him.
We've summoned Uncle Martin.
What game is Martin going to be at tonight? 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. Martin in Santee. What's going on?
Happy Friday, gentlemen. Just thought I'd chime in. And first, let me tell you how much of a pleasure it was to meet Frank in person. and appreciate the effort making it out to Santee last weekend to watch your Olympians just dominate and destroy Santana.
I wasn't going to
So, and
say
also
dominate and
congratulations
destroy,
to-
but you know.
Yeah, final score was, but yeah, I think it was closer than that. So, but also just really wanted to comment this week on the depth and knowledge and diversity that each of you bring to sports, from international soccer to local soccer to MSL to stock car to football to high school. It's refreshing. Your sports show always does it. And just the depth of knowledge that each of you bring on a variety of topics: college football, pro level, baseball, of course. I know that's number one, but it's always a pleasure. And that's why I kind of don't call, or I tried to get in late, and I'm thinking, damn, I just enjoyed the show and it's over, and I'm just going to call and say something. So I'm glad I caught you guys today. I'll be at the San Diego State game tomorrow. Maybe I'll run into you. I've never been to Snapdragon, so it's going to be a first. I'll be sporting the red and black and hoping for the best. So, but anyway, guys, great week, great stuff, great coverage, local, national, every level, and just appreciate what each of you do and bring every day. So take care, have a great weekend, and maybe see you tomorrow at the game.
All right. Thank you very much, Martin. We appreciate it. I will be at the game tomorrow.
It's another promo.
You keep telling him to call in, and you got his number, and you kept telling him to call in. I need to make my promos a lot easier.
I don't have
to
his
understand.
number.
I can't find the email about the deal, so maybe I don't have a credential for tomorrow.
Maybe you're not going tomorrow.
Yeah, maybe. Well, I do have tickets if I can. I can get tickets. So we'll see. When did you get that email?
I got it on Wednesday, I think.
Wednesday. What day was that? The 17th?
Yeah.
All right. I'll have to dig through. Unless Adam forgot to apply for me. He said he was going to apply.
Yeah, he said he applied for both of us.
Huh. I'll have to check. All right, then.
Hold on. I put it in my credentials folder. I got
guys, a credentials folder. You get so many credentials.
Folder. No, it's not that. It's I have a mental problem. I need to sort everything out. No, I got it on Tuesday. Tuesday was when I got it.
Oh, all right. Maybe I have to go back.
And I got the I got the parking pass yesterday.
I did not get the parking pass. So, but I don't know if he asked for one or not.
Juan Ruiz asking, "Are you taking shirts to the Aztec game tomorrow?"
What do you mean? Like Braden Surprenant show shirts?
I would assume.
Like free giveaway shirts? That could be a lot of different things.
No, are you bringing Fresno State shirts? Yes, show shirts, you goober.
Well, it could be Aztec shirts. I don't have that. I mean,
I don't think they'd let you in with those.
San Diego State Aztec shirts?
Yeah, why are you going to give away shirts that they're trying to sell?
I don't know. Just an interesting question. Are you going to bring shirts? We only brought one to Drake because we needed to get Drake a shirt.
Yes.
So there's that. All right. We do have the Aztec game coming up tomorrow. Now's probably a good time to actually talk about them.
Yeah, may as well. We've already spent the whole segment on the Aztecs. May as well finish it off.
7:30 on CBS. Jaden Denigal. See how he does in a bounce back week. 28 for 55, 342 touchdowns on the year, 15 carries for negative 13 yards and a touchdown. He's going against Sagapolete. I totally butchered that. I don't know how to say that guy's name. Jaron Kiwi Saga Poletele. I think it's Saga Poletele. He's 71 for 106, 786 touchdowns and a pick. He's done really well.
Yeah.
Super well. So trying to stop him is going to be a problem. I think trying to stop him is going to be a problem for San Diego State. I'd like to see the Aztecs use a little bit more Lucky Sutton. I thought they got away from him a little bit at Washington State. And we'll see how much of the bye week is played off for Sean Lewis and company tomorrow at 7:30. Again, they got a flash sale out there. We're like the only show that really talks about the Aztecs.
The flash sale was only for Wednesday, though.
Correct. Yes. They had the flash sale, as I mentioned. So hopefully you got your $15 tickets. And we'll see you out there. Cal leads the all-time matchup 5-4. Home team has won all 9 matchups in this series. How about that? Was that your betting nugget?
Yeah, that was the nugget.
There you go.
9 matchups. Home team has won all of them. So just book it. Book it. San Diego State win. San Diego State 2-1.
Last meeting was last year. Cal won 31-10. San Diego State won the last meeting here, but that was back in 2016, where they beat Cal 45-40. They're going to be honoring the 2015 team, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Before the game.
Yes, they will.
So that's good news there. I think as long as San Diego State can kind of keep it close, I think it'd be a win for them. I mean, I don't like moral victories, but we'll see. I'd like to see an improvement and some bounce back. The Aztecs.
Just don't look as embarrassing as you did against Wazoo, and I think we'll be okay.
I think so too. That game now, is the spread still 12.5? I got to pull it up.
It was 12.5 last. I think it was 13.5.
13.5 right now. Cal's got a 13. They're favored by 13.5 against San Diego State. There's some good college football games tomorrow. We picked on Wednesday.
There are a lot of them.
But like it starts off, I got, Go Purple Friday. I got my purple on for the Frogs. They're 6.5-point favorites against SMU. That game's at 9 in the morning on ESPN2. By the way, I do have a bone to pick with like national media right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I just like, so they're not going to play this game anymore, at least in the going. They canceled they didn't extend the contract on this game for TCU and SMU back when SMU was not in a Power 4 conference. And so TCU wanted to opt to have more home games, and they didn't want to have to play a group of 5 school where it's a lose-lose for TCU, right? So it was like San Diego State not wanting to play USD or UCSD in basketball because every once in a while that team can get you, and you don't get anything for winning that game. So they decided to go away with the game at the end of this year. They didn't renew the contract. And now all these national media outlets are upset about this rivalry game that they love so much, which, by the way, nobody has ever talked about this as an important rivalry game outside of DFW. And now all of a sudden, since it's not happening anymore, it goes along with like, oh, see, look, conference realignment ruining the sport. They haven't been in the same conference in years. It's not a conference thing.
Yeah, and it's also you dopes that were going for conference realignment.
By the way, if this game was so important to the national audience, which I know it's not, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it is, it's not. Why was the game on the CW last year at 9 in the morning? Why is it on ESPN2 at 9 in the morning? I mean, think about that for a second. Arkansas and Memphis is on ABC at 9 in the morning. If this game was an important rivalry game to you, wouldn't you have put it on ABC? ESPN? At 9 in the morning? I mean, it's not. It's on ESPN2. It's not even on ESPN. You know what game's on ESPN? Syracuse Clemson. What a snooze fest. NyQuil.
It's a conference matchup.
Clemson is favored by 17.5 against Syracuse at home. That game's on ESPN. Arkansas at Memphis is on ABC. So if you want to sit there and tell me how important this game is and how bad it is that they're not renewing this contract of this rivalry game, put them on a big network then if you really cared about it. But nobody does. They don't care. Aside from me attending the school, does this game move you as much? I mean, the bad blood, I guess, but it's a more recent thing than anything else. I just don't get it. If you really cared about that game, national outlets, it would be on a primetime spot, not 9 a.m. on ESPN2, in my opinion on that deal. Texas Tech at Utah is a great game, by the way, at 9 in the morning, too.
Yes.
You got great games at 9 a.m. Texas Tech and Utah, TCU SMU. Texas Tech Utah is on Fox. That's big noon kickoff. That's a 3.5-point favorite for Utah.
That's at Utah, right?
Yeah. So
that
they're playing at 10 in the morning.
morning.
Yes, they're playing at 10 a.m. It has happened before. When I was at Arizona, it happened because they don't change the clocks there. And so they had a 10 a.m. game when they played Oregon one year when I was a student there, just like rolling out of bed, going to the game. I understand playing at 11 a.m. if you're the Central Time, but no West Coast school should have to play in the first window. Not a 10 a.m. start in Utah. What? That's crazy.
I want them to do a big noon kickoff.
At noon?
Just to highlight how stupid the conference realignment is. I want a big noon kickoff between just Ohio
USC.
State and Oregon in Oregon. So the game starts at 9 in the morning. Just to show how stupid the conference realignment
I can't
was.
wait for them to make USC or UCLA play at 9 a.m. Did they make them do that last year?
I
Did
don't
USC
think
have
so.
to play? I don't think so. I don't think they've done that yet. I'd love to see SC have to play at 9 in the morning. 12 o'clock slate. Oregon State, Oregon playing for a Platypus Trophy. or something. Auburn at Oklahoma is a good game. Tulane at Ole Miss is a good game. Michigan at Nebraska is a good game. Some of the midday games on Saturday. I know what I'm doing all day on Saturday. I'll watch college football after I get all the film breakdown stuff done that I need to do before I go to the Aztec game. Florida, Miami at 4:30. Illinois, Indiana, a couple of ranked teams in quotations. We'll see if they're actually good or not. That's on NBC. The Apple Cup's at 4:30. That's a good one. Arizona State at Baylor's good. I like that matchup. I'm just kind of scrolling through some of the games. And at night, you got Michigan State at USC. USC's fair by 18.5. San Diego State, Cal. And then the night one is Fresno State, Hawaii. Should be a good one. If you want to pass the Hawaii test. You're going to pass the Hawaii test, Frank, and stay up late to watch Hawaii play at 9 o'clock?
I will be at Snapdragon Stadium, good sir.
You'll be able to watch the second half of that game, maybe.
Will I?
It's possible.
Probably
Depends how long you stay.
Probably from the parking lot as I wait to get out of there for an hour and a half.
Gives you something to listen to on the way out. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. When we come back, let's talk about the Padres taking the right club out of the bag. We'll explain when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. Baseball talk on 97 through the Fan is presented by Paramount Plus. Sylvester Stallone is back in the original hit series Tulsa King. This season, Dwight faces his most dangerous adversaries yet, forcing him to fight for everything he's built and to protect his empire. Stream the new season of Tulsa King on Sunday, September 21st, exclusively on Paramount Plus. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. I wanted to dive into this Padres thing again. It was in the Letters to AJ Substack. It was a very interesting conversation. Margin call. Talking about winning on the margins, which is what the Padres have made their identity on. Talking about, and he titled it as grabbing, or what did it say? Take the right club out of the bag. To show about some of the ways that the Padres can win games. Now, here's the deeper dive that I wanted to take into was the game on Sunday against the Rockies. He lays this out, does a great job. Talking about the noticeably different lineup that the Padres had compared to any other lineup that they have had this season. Now, a couple of things. They gave Arise the day off. They gave Machado a day off. So they had to mix things up, and they could put Jackson Merrill in the number 2 spot. Now, the best thing about lineup construction, the most time where it hits lineup construction is in the first inning. And when you are making your lineup or your batting order, that first inning, you want to try to get as many runs as possible because you don't know how many runs it's going to take to win the game. The insertion of Jackson Merrill into the second spot of the order resembled a modern lineup construction, but the defensive specialists at the bottom of the order left it looking a bit lean overall. But again, Machado and Arise were not part of the order. So Manny hit leadoff. Jackson hit second. Ramon Laureano third. Gavin Sheets fourth. Ryan O'Hearn fifth. Jake Cronenworth, Jose Iglesias, Freddie Fermin, and Mason McCoy. Tatis started the game doing something he has done at a career high rate this season. It's getting on base. Now, he goes into a little bit more of the detail that Eno Saris talks about the y-axis of where he stands in the box and like where he's making contact, and now he's doing it in a position where he's hitting the ball a lot harder, adding more power. So I don't want to bore you with all that stuff, at least on the radio. If you want to go look at it, you could read it on Letters to AJ at substack.com. But his approach has changed a little bit. He's a notorious tinkerer. And he's changed his stance, swing shapes dramatically as the season has gone by. But his approach has been different too. Now, he has increased his walk rate very high. He's decreased his strikeout rate. Now, if you look at his overall seasons, like 2019 through 2025, Fernando has seen his strikeout percentage drop from 29.6% in 2019 to an 18.4% in 2025. That is really come down over the last couple of years. His walk rate, which started at 8.1% in 2019 when he was a rookie, has now increased a little bit. It's increased over time, and in 2025, it's now a 13.3% walk rate. You can look at the deeper dive of like where he stands and everything like that, but he's done a good job of being a table setter this year. And he's changed a couple of things to get a little bit more pop. In September, he has gotten more slug compared to his season totals. In the month of September, he's at 273 with an 840 OPS, a 491 slug, which is better than his season totals of a 265 average, an 804 OPS, and a 436 slug. Padres need slugging in the playoffs. Last season, Tatis was the biggest contributor to the playoff offense in October, which put up the second highest home run rate in the playoffs, and second highest behind Milwaukee, in front of LA and New York, who ended up going to the World Series. But he led things off on Sunday with a knock. He gets on base. Jackson Merrill, second spot in the order. We talked about this as well. We talked about they come up just as many times as the leadoff guy does, but mostly with guys on base. And a lot of teams that have done that have decided to put slugging players there. As Letters AJ has discussed in the past, the Padres' use of small ball, especially the use of the dreaded first inning sacrifice bunt to move runner over to second, Padres attempted this play 8 times in 2025, leading the league. At first, in the first inning on Sunday, it looked like a potential 9th attempt, but this is where things get crazy. We talked about this early with Luis Ariz dropping down a bunt. You look at where third baseman was playing for Colorado. Very deep and shaded the shortstop side. Edman Marquez on the pitch when Jackson Merrill laid out a bunt, had to scramble for the ball because the Rockies' defensive alignment. He knows if the ball gets past him, there's no one there to field it, and he can't make the play. The third baseman was beyond a crucial measurable threshold. He was 121 feet away from third base. When the third baseman plays deeper than 120 feet, the result of bunt attempts for base hits are staggering. You start looking at some of the numbers for it and how everything lays out, and that's laid out in the article by Letters AJ, because Jackson Merrill dropped down a bunt. But that wasn't a sacrifice bunt to get him over. That was a bunt for a hit to get guys on base. This is like the intangibles that Jackson Merrill brings because he's more than just a one-trick pony like kind of Arise is. The defensive game plan varies differently for Arise than it does Jackson Merrill. It's something to consider when making a lineup in a short series when decisions made along the margins might separate evenly matched teams. So, you have Fernando at second, and you have Merrill at first. Now you bring up Ramon Laureano. Now, in an ideal world, you'd be bringing up Manny Machado. He had the day off. Laureano wasn't able to execute, but if you look at his attack angle, attack direction as laid out by Letters to AJ, he was trying to hit the ball over the fence, which is great. He popped up, not great. The process was good. The outcome was bad. It's kind of dumb luck. Didn't work out. They're not always going to be all over it. Sheets comes up next, batting cleanup, faced the same situation as Laureano, didn't get a pitch he liked, ended up walking, and now all of a sudden you got the bases loaded with Ryan O'Hearn up, if I'm not mistaken. Ryan O'Hearn with 2 outs and a runner in scoring position. The Rockies didn't give O'Hearn much to hit. He ends up walking in this inning, right? Gavin Sheets popped up. Never mind. And so that brings up Jake Cronenworth with 2 outs and the bases loaded in the tie game in the first inning in this defensive alignment. Cronenworth saw an opportunity. Again, far away from third base. Jake Cronenworth drops down a bunt with 2 outs, gets the first run in the game for the San Diego Padres. So it's a couple of different things mixed together, but you go into it. I understand. This is the main point of why we think Jackson Merrill should be batting second over guys like Luis Arraez. I'd rather have Luis Arraez bat lower in the order, where multiple guys are up, where multiple guys will be on base by the time he comes up, and that was also laid out in the deal. When we come back, we're going to talk a little high school football. We're going to continue the Padres conversation throughout the 1 o'clock hour. We kind of looked at San Diego State, but in the 1 o'clock hour, week 3 of the NFL. And we are going to check to see if we have tickets to give away for Aztec football. We don't. We were supposed to give them away yesterday, but we didn't have a show, was what the email said. So I'm curious if it's on there for yesterday. We're going to investigate that and keep you posted. We do need a contestant for the Midday Sports Standoff as well. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. We will discuss more about that and give you a little preview of the high school football schedule tonight when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. 12:36 on the Braden Surprenant Show. Need a contestant for the Midday Sports Stand-Up. We haven't done that all week. If you can take me down to sports trivia, you'd be qualified for a chance to win our grand prize. A trip to see the Eagles at Sphere Las Vegas, including 2 tickets to the show on January 30th, a 2-night stay at the Venetian Resort Las Vegas, a Vibe VIP package, and a $100 gas card. Eagles have added 2026 shows to the band's residency at Sphere in Las Vegas on Friday, January 23rd, Saturday, January 24th, Friday, January 30th, and Saturday, January 31st. The residency now features a total of 48 shows from Friday, September 20th, 2025 through Saturday, January 31st, 2026. Tickets at Ticketmaster.com. Looks like we do have a pair of tickets to give away for the Aztecs, too. We'll do that in the 1 o'clock hour for tomorrow's game. I'd like to see good attendance there tomorrow. We had a lot of people call us and ask us how they can get some tickets. I know if you're a season ticket holder, You were able to request free tickets in certain areas for other people if you want to bring them to the game, trying to grow Aztecs football here in town. It seems like Frank and I are the only ones that are trying to do that, but you know what? We're going to try our best. So we will have tickets to give away in the 1 o'clock hour. Let's talk about Friday Night Lights here in town. A lot of great games in high school football throughout San Diego County. We got some teams going out of town this weekend as well. Here are the games that John Matthew picked. In the Coastal League, we already got some league games popping up. In the Coastal League, Army-Navy, who's 4-0, goes to La Jolla Country Day. Army-Navy quarterback Judah Bogard has been flawless this year. 596 yards, 10 touchdowns, no picks. Abraham Drame gives them a ground game, and Landon Schramm has been his top target with 334 yards and 5 scores. But La Jolla Country Day has some firepower. Jet Aspen has thrown for 926 yards, spreading it out to Quentin Cesare, 31 catches. Hess Hertz with 22. Marvin Jones, it's Marvin Jones the third, son of Marvin Jones Jr., with 16. Adam Keenan Ward's 379 rushing yards and 6 touchdowns. And this could be another close coastal battle. Army-Navy Academy at La Jolla Country Day. That game will start. I don't know what time that game will start. What time does that game start? That might be earlier because it's La Jolla Country Day, but it could be a 7 o'clock game too. I have to double check on that as I look through it. I'll let you know about that in a second. Non-league games. Santa Fe Christian plays Christian. Christian's home field is Granite Hills. So Granite Hills is out of town. They play Los Alamitos this weekend. Tonight. That's going to be a tough game for Granite. But while they're away, Christian will host Santa Fe Christian. Santa Fe Christian's off to a perfect start, averaging almost 40 points a game. Dax Labrum has 1,098 passing yards and 15 touchdowns already. Lincoln Mundis and tight end Jarius Bolden are big weapons for the Eagles as Christian counters with Caleb Runkle, who's thrown for 833 yards and 9 touchdowns, finding Kai Rozier and Hank Houston often. Santa Fe Christian versus Christian tonight in the East County. Santa Fe Christian 4-0. Christian is 1-2. Olympian at Chula Vista. Frank's alma mater. We're trying to get him to go there to the game tonight, but the guy needs a day. Off. Wasn't that yesterday? Didn't you have a day off yesterday?
No, I didn't have a day off yesterday because a bunch of things that my dad had on shelves in the garage, well, the shelf collapsed. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's fun. Fun stuff. All right, so while Frank's getting a day off, not supporting his Olympian Eagles, Olympian has been rolling 4-0 on the season. They're at Chula Vista tonight, outscoring opponents 164-33. Quarterback Jaden Fuentes already over 1,000 yards passing, 12 touchdowns, and only 1 pick. Targets include Patricio Flats and Jorgen Estrada. For Chula Vista, Jose De La Cruz has 367 passing yards. Isaiah Hurd adds balance on the ground, and Gabriel Ruiz has 256 yards receiving. St. Augustine is at Mater Dei. A couple of 1-3 teams down in the South Bay again tonight. Saints finally got in the win column last week with help from 2A star Pai Palamalu. That's the son of Troy Palamalu. Mater Dei has had a brutal schedule. They lost to Cathedral, Granite, and San Marcos. All teams in the top 10 in San Diego. Quarterback Jackson Munford didn't play last week, so they leaned on Jordan Demarion in the run game and Diego Mendoza at receiver. Should be a good one down at Mater Dei Catholic tonight. Coronado at Mission Bay. Mission Bay and Trey Arnold's off to a great start. We talked about Trey Arnold last week. Trey Arnold had over 1,000 yards before everybody else did. Well, what did he do? He added 238 yards last week as Mission Bay, in my opinion, upset University City. That's a big win for Mission Bay. That game came down to the wire. Mission Bay quarterback Trey Arnold lighting it up. 1,238 yards, 17 touchdowns in just 4 games. Kai Barrios has been his go-to receiver. He's got 360 yards. Coronado will counter behind quarterback Jack Sullivan, the son of friend of the show, JT O'Sullivan, who we got to get on the show again, talk some NFL football with him later on. So got a good quarterback matchup today at Mission Bay High School between Mission Bay and Coronado. Up in Escondido at Orange Glen High School, they'll be hosting the Classical Academy Escondido Charter game. Classical Academy snapped its skid last week, while Escondido Charter is coming off a 46-6 rout of Silver Valley. Should be a good one in the North County. Eastlake at Point Loma. Been rough for Eastlake after an opening win. Point Loma, on the other hand, unbeaten with Henry House and receiver Romeo Carter leading the Pointers attack. The Boise State commit Romeo Carter has been really lighting it up here in receiving yards in town. I'd expect Point Loma to get the better of Eastlake tonight. Hilltop at Westview. Hilltop leans on running back Leo Mendoza. He's got 480 yards rushing. Westview comes in hot after dropping 62 on Valley Center. Only had 4 turnovers. The paper had a typo, said 14. It was actually 4, which is drastically different, Frank, than 14. But with the amount of points that they scored, it was relatively believable. Valley Center is led by the quarterback, on Valley Center. Westview is led by the quarterback Matthew Guimond and receivers John Haney and Kyler Brown, as well as Brogan Ford. Westview trying to improve to 2-3 with a win tonight over Hilltop. San Pasqual is at number 7, San Marcos. San Pasqual quarterback Robert Renteria has 683 yards of offense, spreading it to Marcus Rocha and Jared Breck. Linebacker Landon Lockwood anchors the defense, but San Marcos has been a machine. They have scored 162 points already this season. Running back Zamir Reese has piled up 734 yards total and 9 touchdowns. One of the big games this week, number 8, Mount Miguel, 3-1 in the year at number 10, Poway. They come up to North County, not East County, North County. Mount Miguel has signature wins over Loyola and Torrey Pines. Though their offense has cooled a bit, Poway's offense centers around running back Luke Jorgensen, especially with quarterback Noah Schubach banged up last week. We'll see if Noah can go tonight. If not, it might be some Luke Jorgensen again for the Poway Titans. That's going to be a good one. I think Mount Miguel gets the better of Poway. Torrey Pines at Escondido is a good one tonight. I mentioned I will be at Helix High School for the Cathedral Catholic Helix Highlander game. Cathedral comes in at 3-0. Helix is at 1-3. Other games for you around the county. Morse goes to University City. Rancho Bernardo is going to be out of town with Weddle and company. They travel up to West Covina to take them on tonight. Other out-of-town game, as mentioned before, Granite Hills will be at Los Alamitos, who's one of the top 10 teams in the state of California. Frontier comes down to play Lincoln. I would imagine Lincoln should be able to handle them. Carlsbad already got a victory over Valley Center. Valley Center forfeited that game due to not enough players being able to play tonight. Del Norte goes out to Brawley. And then here's another one for you. You got a rivalry game, Mira Mesa at Scripps Ranch. Should be a fun one at Scripps Ranch for that one. The other one, too, and I don't want to spend too much time on this. Mission Hills is going to be at Ramona. Mission Hills has suspended their coaching staff, or 3 of their coaches, for an investigation into the program on something. Haven't had too many details about it. We're not going to spend too much time about it. It's an ongoing investigation involving the sheriff department. So we hope everything works out as well it can be. Obviously, a serious matter, but they're still playing. Mission Hills is going to Ramona today. That's all I got really on that. That's all really I want to talk about. I don't really want to get into it. And there's a lot of those big stories out there that come around with high school sports, but again, that's something that's going on at Mission Hills right now. I don't know the details, and I'm not going to pretend that I do know the details. But it doesn't sound great. So hopefully it's not as bad as it sounds. But again, that's not something I really want to dive into. But that is something that has happened this week in high school football. We need to get to our midday sports standoff. Do we have a contestant? Yes, we do. Let's get to it.
Welcome to Midday Sports Standoff on the Braden Surprenant Show.
I can't believe what I'm seeing right now.
The ultimate head-to-head battle where sports knowledge and quick thinking collide.
No, it's no good. Are you kidding me?
Contestants will go toe-to-toe with Braden in a sports trivia deal where every correct answer brings them closer to victory.
Down the sideline! Wow! Unbelievable!
But 3 strikes and it's game over.
This is not Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl.
Can you outsmart Braden? The Midday Sports Standoff starts now.
Well, I made it easier for you, Frank, because I think this was the question for Monday that we never got to.
Wednesday, yes.
All right, Wednesday. Who we got playing today?
We have Brandon and El Cajon playing today. Brandon, how are you?
I am good. How are you guys doing today?
Doing good. All right. So there are 7 possible answers to today's question. And that question would be, there are 7 quarterbacks in the NFL whose last name ends with S.
Sick.
Who are they? Brandon, you have the first guess.
Okay, division by division. Last name begins with S.
Last name
Ends with
ends
S.
with S.
Ends with S. Oh, Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes is one, yes.
Justin Fields.
Justin Fields.
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers. We're just burning through this today.
Caleb Williams.
Caleb Williams.
How many is that?
That's 4.
Steelers, Ravens, Bengals, Browns. Not Tua, not Josh Allen. South is CJ Stroud. No. Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones, correct.
So hard.
It's 2 left.
Jeez. I mean, just trying to go through all the names here. Despite what Atlanta news stations might think, it's actually Penix with a X. Typo guy in the Chiron. Didn't want to say that one out loud.
Oops.
Not him. Not him. Not. God, I don't know. It's not. No, it's not him either. I know some that start with an S. Trying to find the ones that end with an S. It's not Tua either. Oh, it's my fantasy quarterback, Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels. Brandon, you have to get this right. I mean, you get 3 strikes, but if you want to win, you got to get it right.
North.
Were these starting quarterbacks at the beginning of the season, or are these starting quarterbacks like this week?
They're starting quarterbacks at the beginning of the season.
All right.
East, no, you already said no. Not Stafford. West, North. Caleb Williams. No. Not McCarthy. Not Jordan Love. Not Jared Goff. South.
Gonna have to give you get 10 seconds here.
No, not Bryce Young.
He's listed almost every quarterback.
Yeah, I gotta give you an X there, bud.
You know who he did not list? The quarterback that just won the Super Bowl last year. Hurts.
And that was why I said you kind of had to get that one right. Good try, Brandon.
Hurts.
Braden takes it again.
When I saw that on the sheet just now, I was like, are you kidding me, Frank?
Well, simple enough, was it not?
I mean, it's just like, okay, ends in S. I mean, I was literally going through, I'm looking at our NFL whip around going like Packers, Love, Browns, Flacco. It's going to take forever. Indianapolis Colts. Daniel Jones. Already been said. Tennessee Titans. Cam Ward. No, that's not an S.
It's Nick in the chat.
I agree. Crumb is probably upset somewhere. Crumb is probably upset. We picked the Eagles guy last.
Brother is fuming.
Nobody remembers him, dude. He's not memorable, apparently. He's not memorable, apparently. Frank and his consistent and this contestant need to put the fries in the bag. Oh man, not great. That was, well, you know what? At least it wasn't. These logos spell out this.
Exactly. There you go. See?
Oh god. It'll be fun to get to the NFL whip around when we come back. So we do have Aztec tickets to give away.
We do,
for the game against Cal. Do you have the liner for that? Is there a liner for that? Just the game is against Cal tomorrow at 7:30.
Game's tomorrow at 7:30. Get your tickets at goaztecs.com.
All right, I have a question. I'll have a trivia question for you.
Okay.
Okay. The trivia question is going to be. Well, hang on. I'm gonna find what. Here's what we're gonna do.
Incorrect answers only.
Yeah. What current NFL head coach? I'm just hoping it's not multiple of them.
Mike Vrabel.
No. What current NFL head coach started his career as an offensive assistant for San Diego State in 1988? What current NFL head coach started as an offensive assistant at San Diego State in 1988? Started his coaching career.
That's your trivia question for the tickets.
That is your trivia question for the tickets. If you call in,
numbers on screen right now, as a matter of fact.
833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. If you call in and answer first correctly, the current head coach of the National Football League who started his career coaching as an offensive assistant in 1988, first one to call in and answer that correctly, you will win 2 tickets to the Aztec game tomorrow. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. First one to call in and tell me who the current NFL coach is that started his coaching career as an offensive assistant at San Diego State in 1988.
All right, listen, go Aztecs.
I think it's a great question.
It is. It is a fantastic question, but here's the thing.
It does have multiple answers.
Exactly. So one answer is easier than finding a question with many answers.
Well, you know what you could have done? You could have done like name the NFL coaches and former NFL and current NFL head coaches that had coached at a time at San Diego State.
Well, now, congratulations. We can't do that for Monday.
I mean, we can. I don't know the answers to those.
Oh, all right, then. Well, there you go.
People are going to forget anyway when the Aztecs win and beat Cal, and then when
I've
the
already
Padres
forgotten.
sweep the White Sox, and it's got to be great. So, anyway, do that. I'd like to know what your answers are. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. When we come back, preview the NFL weekend, NFL whip around. We'll talk Padres and White Sox, and Drake Hills joins us to finish up the show. Braden Surprenant Show. Stay on Sports Station 97 to the Fan. All right. Baseball coverage on 97 through the fans presented by T-Mobile. Head to T-Mobile.com and get a great deal on iPhone 16 Pro. What was the correct answer to the trivia question?
I've forgotten after I've taken so much time to remember so much of my memory power to put in what I needed to put in to get this guy qualified. It was Sean Payton.
Sean Payton. Now, here's the deal. I actually found the list that we talked about.
Why would you go and do that?
It's great. Well, because, I don't know. I found it. So here, I found all of the current and former NFL coaches.
You goofball McGundy.
They're not all head coaches, though. All of the former, and just bank this. If you did this in November, I'd totally forget. So the NFL head coaches that were members of the Aztec football program in some capacity, but didn't go to San Diego State. You ready for this list? It's pretty good.
Go for it.
I mean, I'm already looking at it, so it's fine. Joe Gibbs.
I'm already looking at it. So
Joe Gibbs, Hall of Fame NFL head coach of the Washington Redskins of the time, Super Bowl winning coach, NASCAR team owner, former Aztec player and assistant coach. He did play at San Diego State.
Thank you for putting the NASCAR team owner bit in there.
I had to put that in there for you. John Madden was a former Aztec assistant coach.
And here's a guy I didn't know was a former Aztec assistant coach.
Now, here's a guy, Turducken. Don Coryell, we all know that, former NFL head coach of the Chargers and former Aztecs head coach. Ted Tollner, current NFL assistant coach of the Raiders, former assistant coach of the Lions, Niners, Chargers, former Aztecs head coach. Herm Edwards, who played at San Diego State, former head coach of Arizona State. Yeah, we all know about Herm Edwards. He played and win the game.
He draws the foul.
What was that for?
Nate was asking why no one was fouling out today, so I just gave him a foul.
There you go.
He asked for it effectively.
He wanted one. Intentional foul. He's fouling up. He's fouling up 3 late. Good job, Nate. Way to play some good ball there. John Fox, former NFL head coach of the Bears, former NFL head coach of the Carolina Panthers and the Denver Broncos, former Aztecs player. Not a former Aztecs coach, but a former Aztecs player. Where did John Fox go to high school? South Bay guy. Where?
It wasn't Olympian. I know that.
Castle Park.
Oh, good for him.
A Castle Park Trojan. Sean Payton, we talked about, NFL head coach of the Saints, Super winning head coach, former Aztecs offensive assistant, former Aztecs running backs coach. He was a running backs coach after that. He's the current Denver Broncos head coach. Tom Cable, former NFL head coach of the Raiders, is a former Aztec assistant. Brian Billick, former NFL head coach of the Ravens, Super Bowl winning head coach, former Aztec assistant coach. Kevin O'Connell, NFL head coach of the Vikings, former Aztec and NFL quarterback, not a former Aztec coach. Ernie Zampese. That's another name with the Aztecs. And they've had a lot of other players. Can you name me? I'm going to ask you this trivia question real quick. Let's see if you're good. You know what? You're always asking me trivia questions. It's my turn to ask you a trivia question.
Yeah, this one's called Bench the Idiot.
All right. On this week's episode of Bench the Idiot, we ask our resident idiot, apparently, can you name the 3 Pro Football Hall of Fame coaches that coached at San Diego State? I just said all their names.
Madden would be one.
Yep, Madden. He coached from 64 to 66.
Brother, I told you I don't listen. Vroom
Vroom, NASCAR guy.
Oh, Gibbs.
64 to 66. And guy that changed offenses all over football. Finally got in the Hall of Fame in 2023. Former Chargers head coach.
Oh, God.
The initials DC.
Don Coryell.
Don Coryell. Wow. A resident idiot won, apparently. You win nothing.
Yeah, it's about right.
I remember the sounder they used to play on Dave Shelley and Chainsaw back in the day when I was a kid. You win. You win nothing. You win nothing and you will like it. By the way, Frank named the game Bench the Idiot.
I did.
That's on him. He likes to, I don't know why. Frank is very smart. Frank does not believe he's very smart, but Frank is very smart. Until he says that our show is supposed to be at 10 o'clock tonight. As Go Aztecs would say, play silly games, win silly prizes. How about that? All right. Is it time for the whip around?
Sure. It can definitely be time for the whip around right now.
It's time for the whip around.
All right.
Had a game last night, Dolphins and Bills. Dolphins kept it close for as long as possible. Chris Ello is yelling at the sky. The Dolphins lose again.
I was going to say I didn't put the final score. I know who won. I didn't put the score down.
Bills won 31-21. Miami drops to 0-3. Bills improve to 3-0. Let's start from the top. Green Bay Packers and the Cleveland Browns. Get things started Sunday at 10 in the morning. Did you put the Rams on there? Yeah, you did. All right.
Relax.
Bold prediction. All right, first of all, Packers are favored by 7.5 in this game at Cleveland. Cleveland's 0-2. Clay and the South Bay's Browns need to get something going here. Can they do it against the Packers? Who do you got? Packers by 7.5.
I got the Packers. Sorry, Clay.
I got the Packers covering as well. I think I got the Packers in some survivor pools, which is... whatever.
Sorry, Clay.
Sorry, Clay. Joe Flacco is... he's starting to not look at Joe Flacco like you would want a woman to look at you. So we're making progress with Clay, I think. Bold prediction. Packers offensive tackle Carl Brooks will record a sack by herself. I'll take it.
I'll take that as well.
All right, Frank, next game.
Next game, the Indianapolis Colts at 2-0 taking on the Tennessee Titans at 0-2. I'm a genius. I didn't put the freaking line down.
The line is Indy by 4.5 on the road in Nashville.
I pressed the foul button. For those of
you can't, but you get an extra foul because you knew that when the music is playing, you can't play fouls. So that's 2 fouls on Frank. Back to back. All right. I will take this game scares me. I know a lot of people pick this for. I don't want to pick this as a survivor pick. I think the Colts probably win this game. It's just the way that they've been playing and the way the Titans have been playing. This is the week where the witching hour starts happening in the National Football League. I kind of want to take the Titans plus 4.5. You know what? I'm going to take the Titans plus 4.5. I'm going to go on a limb here. I think the Titans win at home. I think they go to 1-2. I think the Colts playing a little fool's gold. Drops into 2-1. But you know what? Daniel Jones has been playing a lot better. What's our bold prediction?
I'm going to take the Titans as well. Bold prediction is Titans running back Tony Pollard will get his first touchdown of the season.
I'll buy that. If I'm going to take Titans plus 4.5, it's because Tony Pollard gets a touchdown.
Next game on the list is going to be the Cincinnati Bengals, who are 2-0, taking on the 1-1 Minnesota Vikings.
Wasn't this my turn?
I don't care. Minnesota favored by 2.5 at home against the Vikings. Or against the Bengals.
There's 2 backup quarterbacks in this game.
It's
Jake Browning versus Carson Wentz. Bengals have a little bit more round Browning than Carson Wentz does in Minnesota. Yes, they got Justin Jefferson, but I don't know. And here's the other thing, too. Kevin O'Connell's the quarterback whisperer. Everything he touches turns to gold. It does. Everything he touches turns to gold. This is a tough one. And it's in Minnesota. You know, Browning came in late, won the game for Cincinnati. I don't know, with tape on him, maybe for Minnesota. Minnesota had looked very lackluster last week against Atlanta. And now they don't have J.J. McCarthy. I think it's going to take time for Carson Wentz to get turned into gold by Kevin O'Connell. I'm going to take Cincinnati plus 2.5.
I'm going to take the Vikings on this one. Bold prediction, Browning and Wentz will both record a plus 60 quarterback rating.
I'll buy that.
I will as well.
I 100% will buy that. Steelers and Patriots, both teams that are 1-1. Both teams that, if this was like 10 years ago, this would be a great matchup. But it's not. They're drastically different now. Pittsburgh and New England. Pittsburgh's favored by 1.5 on the road. I'm going to take the Patriots, Frank. I believe in Drake May. What do you got?
You know what? I'm going to take the Steelers. Honestly,
Steelers.
I think the Steelers are just a better overall team. Their defense is god awful, though.
Bold prediction: Patriots cornerback Carlton Davis III will record an interception against Aaron Rodgers.
I'll buy that.
I'll sell it. It seems oddly specific. Next one.
Next one is the 2-0 Los Angeles Rams taking on the 2-0 Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles favored by 3.5 at the Link.
The Rams looked good last week in Nashville. I know it was against the Titans. I think the Rams have looked good this season. I think the Rams almost got Philly last year until it started to snow. I'm gonna go on a limb here. I'm gonna say the Rams plus 3.5. I think it's the Rams plus 3.5. I think the Eagles have been kind of they haven't been as good as they've been in the past. I know they beat Kansas City last week. Kansas City's 0-2.
Kansas City's not good, though.
I didn't think they let the Cowboys hang around. Sean McVay, man, that guy can coach. That guy's going to draw some stuff up. They got Puka Nacua. They've been using Devontae Adams more. I mean, Devontae Adams was the target down at the goal line and in the red zone for Matt Stafford. They got veterans on that team. I like the Rams. I think if the Eagles are going to drop one early, even though it's at home at the Link, I think the Rams might be able to make some noise. I'll take LA plus 3.5.
I think the home field advantage is going to give the Eagles the edge that they need. I'm going to take the Eagles, and no running on the sidelines this weekend for Sean McVay.
I actually saw him do that, unfortunately. I was like, is he limping? What happened?
Bold prediction, Saquon Barkley will have at least 25 rushing attempts in this game. I'll buy that.
I'll buy that. They run him in the ground last year. I mean, they're going to keep giving him the rock. I buy that big time.
This is why I jumped you, because you get the god-awful name to pronounce for this one.
Fun. You should have seen some of the names on Yale's volleyball team yesterday. It was rough. Thank God they have a pronunciation guide. Jets at Bucks. Bucks are favored by 6.5, Frank.
I am going to take the Buccaneers. Jets are bad.
I'll take Tampa, too. Not the defense, but I'll take Tampa, too, as an also. In this one down in 10. Jets are bad. Bucks linebacker Servosier Dennis will lead the NFL in tackles this week. Before you buy that. Among linebackers with at least 80 snaps played this season, Dennis ranks second in run stop win rate, 53%, and is tied for 8th in tackle rate versus the run. There should be plenty of tackle opportunities against the run heavy Jets. Sure, I'll buy it. Sounds good.
You give me no credit. You just bulldoze straight through that. Like, oh, before you buy this, like, come on. Like, there's got to be some sort of variance on the show here.
You're going to sell it.
No, I'm going to buy it. The Las Vegas Raiders at 1-1 are going into Washington to take on the Commanders. They are also 1-1. Commanders are favored by 2.5.
Even though they have Pete Carroll now and Chip Kelly and a better team, the Raiders still Raidered last week. They had the most Raider plays I'd ever seen all at home. Chargers are a good football team. They kicked the Raiders' ass on Monday. Quick turnaround. Now they got to fly cross country to take on Washington. Now, I will say this about Washington. I have a decent amount of fantasy players on the Washington Commanders, and they've been a little bit slower on the offensive side. I haven't really seen them click yet. They do have Jaden Daniels. He was questionable going into the week. I like Washington, though. The Raiders did not impress me last week. I'll take the Commanders by 3.5.
I'm taking the Commanders as well. Bold prediction, Geno Smith will connect on multiple 30-plus air yard passes. So the ball has to travel 30 yards in the air.
They're going to be launching it all over the field.
I do not write these buy or sells, by the way.
I know you don't. Dan Graziano does, I think. I'll buy that. I think they're going to be down, and they're going to have to be airing it out. Falcons at Panthers. The Fighting Adam Klugs will take on the 0-2 Carolina Panthers. Are you afraid if you're playing the Panthers? I thought Atlanta looked good last week. Atlanta's favored by 5.5 on the road.
No, I couldn't care less. Honestly.
Anybody stopping Bijan Robinson?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I'll take Atlanta minus 5.5. Bijan will record at least 50 rushing yards after contact. I will buy that.
Panthers I will buy that as well.
Panthers are allowing 2.5 yards after contact per carry, third most in the NFL.
Next up, the final 10 a.m. game. The 0-2 Houston Texans take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jaguars favored by 1.5 at home against the Texans.
Texans quarterback C.J. Stroud said this week we're really close to turning the season around after starting 0-2. I thought the game against Tampa was a game in which both teams didn't want to win. Bad tackling late, but that was a game that Houston could have totally won. Said they're 1 or 2 plays away from being 2-0. I would honestly agree with that. Now, here's the thing. Most NFL teams are 1 or 2 plays away from being flipped in terms of their rank of their record because it's so close and everything comes down to the final possession. I, in fact, think Houston's going to win. I think they get their first win.
I would agree with that as well.
I'll take the Texans plus 1.5. It's a coin flip game.
Bold prediction. Travis Hunter will run more routes than De'Ami Brown.
It hasn't been true yet, but I will buy it.
I'm going to sell it.
Sure. I'll let him run around and run routes. Good for him. 1 o'clock games, Denver and LA. This is a Denver and the Chargers here. Denver is 1-1. Chargers are 2-0. Chargers have looked almost unbeatable in their first 2 games. They look good against Kansas City. They destroyed the Raiders. They're on a roll. Justin Herbert is doing well. Broncos have a good defense. Things didn't go their way last week against Indianapolis. And here's the thing about this game. Now, my grandfather in a survivor pool wants to pick the Broncos this week against the Chargers. Out of all the games that we talked about, would you even touch this game with a 10-foot pole? I wouldn't even
No.
Survivor pool. I would not touch this game with a 50-foot pole. There's no reason to make the Broncos or the Chargers your survivor pick this week. It's a division game. It's 2 good teams. I don't care what the Chargers have looked like. This is such a Chargers L. It's hilarious.
There is one reason. Masochist.
Thank you.
That's the only reason you would touch this game.
I would not touch this game unless you just really want to lose money or you're just done doing survivor picks. I wouldn't touch this game with a 50-foot pole. Chargers are 2-0. Broncos are 1-1. Chargers by 2.5, Frank.
I'm taking the Chargers.
I'll take the Chargers too, but not enough for a survivor pick because this is a game that the Chargers usually lose. Bold prediction. Herbert will throw at least 37 pass attempts. Yes, even against Patrick Surtain II and the Broncos.
Yes, I will say that.
I'll buy the 2. Chargers have the highest pass rate over expectation, plus 12% so far this season. That's for a team, by the way, that's coached by Jim Harbaugh that likes to run the rock.
Yes. All right, we'll run right through these here since we got to get to break. 0-2 New Orleans Saints versus the Seattle Seahawks at 1-1. Seahawks 7.5. Spencer Rattler will be sacked 6+ times in a Seahawks win.
I'll buy it. Spencer Rattler sucks. Moving on.
1-1 Dallas Cowboys taking on the 0-2 Chicago Bears. Dallas favored by 1.5 on the road.
Remember, Dallas always gets 3 points because all their fans bet them all the time. So Bears probably slightly favored in this game. I'm going to take the Bears. I think they win at home. I don't think they start 0-3. I think this is kind of a tough game for Dallas. Dallas's offense is going to trade blows, but based on what I saw defensively for the Cowboys against New York last week, if Caleb Williams, I keep saying this, if Caleb Williams can't shred the Cowboys defense,
shows an
with
ounce of
all
competency,
the reps and all the weapons that he has, if they can't beat the Cowboys, I don't know why you keep rolling him out there. He is going down very, very quickly.
Bears will score 30 points.
Buy it. If the Bears win, they're scoring more than 30 points, and they're going to shred the Cowboys' awful secondary. If Caleb Williams can't do that to the Cowboys' defense, who has been awful, I don't know what you got with Caleb Williams in Chicago. I really don't. Niners and Cardinals.
2-0 Cardinals, 2-0 Niners. Niners favored by 2.5.
I'll take the Niners, even though they don't. Is Brock Purdy back? Do we know?
No,
he's not back. I still like the Niners. Kyler Murray just runs all over the place.
Niners wide receiver Kendrick Bourne will have 6 receptions.
Sure. Who else is going to catch the ball?
Well, there you go. The New York Football Giants.
What a great Sunday night game
at home versus the 0-2 Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs favored by 6.5.
I'll take Kansas City.
I will take Kansas City as well.
Why is that a Sunday night game?
I don't know.
Why? Whose bright idea was to make the Chiefs and the Giants Sunday night football?
Because the refs have screwed up. The Chiefs are supposed to be 2-0 right now.
Yeah, and they're 0-2, and everybody loves watching the Giants on Sunday night football.
I'm not even going to bother with this.
No, it's a waste of time. We got to get to break anyway.
Yeah,
we'll talk about Monday's game on Monday. Final road series of 2025, Padres and White Sox. We'll talk about that when we come back. Drake Hills joins us after. Braden Surprenant shows Standing Someone Sports Station 97 to the Fan.
Football is back, and so is your shot at big wins. With DraftKings Pick 6, the official daily fantasy partner of the NFL, your game day instincts can score you real money fast. Here's the play. Just pick...
This show's flown by so fast. Lots to talk about. We're going to talk with Drake Hills in a little bit. Let's talk about the Padres and White Sox, Frank. Padres and White Sox tonight. Padres, 83-70. White Sox, 57-96. The White Sox are awful. The White Sox are the worst team in the American League. The White Sox are just slightly better than the Colorado Rockies. The White Sox have lost 6 in a row. They're 3-7 in their last 10. Not great. They're just not great. This is the team that should, for the Padres, get them back on track. Be able to get them back on track. They should be able to use this as an opportunity to get ready to come back to Chicago in a couple of weeks against the Chicago Cubs. That's what this should be about. Dylan Cease is making a start against the Chicago White Sox tonight, his former team. Dylan's 8-11 with a 4.59 ERA. He's going against Davis Martin, who is 6-10 with a 4.01 ERA. Tonight's game will start at 4:40. So you can watch the Padres game and then go watch the high school football games. Great. Go support your local high schools out there. We talked about all the games out there that you can go watch. Again, I will be at Helix tonight. Cathedral Catholic Helix at 7 o'clock. That game's on TV tonight, by the way, Frank. You can watch the game on TV. You got, well, I don't know if you can or not. It's on YourView. YourView's free, by the way. It's free. It's easy to watch. I think it's Channel 4 for any of the local Cox and Time Warner and whoever else that is. I don't know if you can get on DirecTV, but our game will be on YourView tonight. So if you want to watch the Dons and Helix, try to find me on the screen. You can. You can watch the game tonight. Kind of fun. So you can watch that after the Padres game if you would like. Yu Darvish starts on Saturday. Michael King will start on Sunday. I think the first two guys in this rotation this weekend with Cease and Darvish, I think they're pitching for an opportunity to pitch in the postseason. They asked Mike Schilt about it earlier today on the morning show as part of the manager's report. And he kind of talked about that potentially happening, but these guys are competing, I think, for opportunities to pitch in the postseason as a starting pitcher. We apparently have a lineup out. Let's see if we can find it real quick. It is, again, it's a 4:40 start today. So we got the Ecowater SoCal Padres pregame show at 3:40. Limited Gwynn and Chris today. Starting lineup for the Padres. Not much change. Fernando bats leadoff. Luis Arias bats second. Again, his letters to AJ put out in his Substack about how Major League Baseball teams usually like having their highest slugging guy bat second. Padres have their lowest slugging guy bat second. Fernando, Luis, Manny, Jackson Merrill batting fourth. Ramon Laureano batting fifth. Gavin Sheets batting sixth. Batting seventh and playing first base is Ryan O'Hearn. Batting eighth is Jake Cronenworth. And Freddie Vermeen catches and bats ninth. Not a bad lineup. Again, I'd move Arias down. Other than that, I don't have too many qualms about it. They're going against the White Sox tonight at 4:40. We need to take a quick break. When we come back, we are going to talk with Drake Hills, get you everything you know about San Diego FC as part of our Soccer 101. And if we have some more time, we'll talk more Padres baseball with you and get your phone calls. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Soccer 101 when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
The Fan. Coming up on Friday, Padres first baseman Ryan O'Hearn joins the program for Friar Friday. And how bad was it last night for the Dolphins?
Listen to Gwen and Chris weekdays from 2 to 6 on 97.3 The Fan. Do you know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day? At SDFatLoss.com, we know the secret. Our doctor-developed, easy-to-follow weight loss program helps you lose weight fast, naturally and safely with no drugs or injections, no prepackaged meals, bars, shakes, or exercising required. Our program helps reset your metabolism so you can lose weight quickly and keep the weight off for good with an easy-to-follow maintenance plan that includes ongoing personal support. And our program program costs half as much and works up to twice as fast than most other programs. Go to sdfatloss.com to schedule your free consultation now.
The $200 special is coming to an end. Grab the discount before September 30th and lose up to 20% of your body weight before Thanksgiving. Don't wait to look and feel amazing heading into the holiday season. Mention my name, Scraby, for $200 off. Go to sdfatloss.com now to schedule your free consultation.
Many clients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month or two. That's up to a pound per day. Schedule your free consultation now at sdfatloss.com. That's sdfatloss.com. Results may vary.
Fall is the season for reinvention, and it's easy to do at Macy's Fall Favorite Sale. Come in and find your new favorite styles, like romantic ruffled dresses, chic trenches, cashmere sweaters, and textural fall layers, which are perfect for mixing and matching. All for 20 to 50% off. So if you're looking for your new favorite things, look no further than the Fall Favorite Sale today, only at Macy's. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
It's complicated. These days, that's how people even describe their relationship status. When it comes to the latest complexities in your car, it's gotten really complicated. The experts at AMCO undergo the most rigorous training to stay on top of the latest car technologies, so there's nothing we can't fix. Well, except for that complicated relationship. When it comes to that, you're on your own. AA, MCO. Check engine light on? We'll check it for free.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGE 0000466. For a full list of games and rules, play at 7 Mile Casino. Visit 7milecasino.com.
Hey, it's Ben Woods here reminding you that San Diego's best place to play cards is also its closest. 7 Mile Casino offers Texas Hold'em poker, California-style blackjack, high gal poker, and baccarat.
Make sure you get in on the weekend for their award-winning brunch from Sammy's.
It's so easy to get to, you don't have to drive into the East County. Just head down the 5 freeway to Chula Vista, get off Bay Boulevard right there on San Diego Bay. It's our place. Make it your 7 Mile Casino, just 7 minutes from downtown.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Hey, want to hear something great? Right now at Wendy's, you can get 2 of the #1 selling bacon cheeseburger in all fast food, the JBC, plus medium fries and a medium soft drink for just $8. Want to hear something else great? Double the burger means double the bacon. Now that's a game changer. 2 of the #1 bacon cheeseburgers with fries and a drink for just $8. Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Request $8 JBC meal deal to obtain discount. Individual items at regular price.
If you could hear Old Spice Fiji Antiperspirant, what would it sound like? First, you'd start with Fiji Antiperspirant's amazing scent of palm trees. Add pure notes of fresh coconut and layer on 24/7 odor and sweat protection. You won't hear any dyes or parabens because with Fiji, you won't have any. So while your regular antiperspirant sounds like this, Old Spice Fiji sounds like this. Sounds like it smells amazing.
This hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by the California Office of Traffic Safety and Caltrans.
There are children, friends, and families walking, riding, on paths and roads every day. Remember, they're real people with loved ones who need them to get home safely. Protect our cyclists and pedestrians because they're people too. Go safely, California. From the California Office of Traffic Safety and Caltrans.
Thanks for joining us for Friar Friday, presented by Palomar Health, the official healthcare provider of 97.3 The Fan. Palomar Health, champions of healthcare, champions for you.
All right, so do we think this is gonna? We're gonna get to Drake here in a second. Do we? I have this. I'm trying to track this. Okay, so I bought some Nike Dunks for coaching because we're a Nike school now. So the shoes I got on right now are like running shoes. They're like the Pegasus ones that a lot of teams get issued. I bought those for practice. They came in earlier this week. I bought some Nike Dunks that are red and gold. That looks sweet. I mean, they look awesome. If I don't say myself, and I had them for coaching, right? So I bought those. They are expected to be delivered today, is what it said. It said by 7 o'clock. I'm like, that doesn't help me.
Yeah, no, the answer is no.
I got the latest update. It was out for delivery in San Diego at 9:42 in the morning.
There you go.
By UPS. How long do I wait at my house before I have to go to school and then take the bus for the shoes?
I would say like 3:30, probably the absolute latest.
Yeah, I don't want to wait that long. Oh, I mean, we'll see. I'm gonna carpool to the game and then take the bus down to Helix. But they're nice. I'd like to debut them tonight. If I do, I will post them on social. The cool thing here, there's a couple of things. One, they look cool because they look like team issued shoes. If we had shoes like that, we get a lot of older. The older coaches like to pick the shoes on the team, so they're comfortable, but they don't look nice. And so most of the times when I post pictures of myself coaching, my friends go like, "Bro, what's up with the kicks?" And I'm like, "Do you think I picked these? I'm trying to pay a fine here. I got to look in the part." So I got some Nike ones that make fit. The problem with the red and gold, though, is it looks like McDonald's or In-N-Out. Like I look like I got In-N-Out shoes. As long as I don't wear them, I think we'd be okay. As long as I don't wear them to In-N-Out without cathedral stuff or McDonald's, probably be okay. I'm not necessarily super huge on red and gold in general, but there are my high school's colors. Can't say I like purple more because that's just going to make all the Saints people freak out. And there's a different level of purple with the TCU purple. It's Go Purple Friday, by the way. Skillet game tomorrow. Be locked in, Frank, at 9 in the morning. Unless we lose. Then I don't want you to even think about mentioning anything on Monday. That's where we're at with that. Okay. Talking about college football, we're going to talk about soccer, a little soccer 101. Big game for Drake tomorrow, too. Not the Bulldogs, but Drake Hills. Oregon Ducks playing Oregon State, another rivalry game. Drake, what do we got in the rivalry tomorrow?
Hey, listen, it might be another instance of not if we win, but by how many. All right, how many touchdowns are we going to score? I think Dante Moore and company. It's a midday kickoff. The Beavers, they pretend to be a university. We're going to pretend that they are also a university, but nonetheless, 0-3 on the year. We're 3-0. Sixth best team in the country. It is a practice game. It's a practice game. So how many touchdowns? We had 69. Put up 69 against the Cowboys of Oklahoma State. So I'm thinking, let's go 7 touchdowns. I'm going to 42.5 points. I think that's good, right?
You're firing up Derek in La Mesa right now, who's also a big Oregon Ducks fan, Drake. So I get him a look. Now, here's the deal before we get to the soccer. You got Penn State next week at 4:30. Trap game? Trap game? Are you worried about Oregon State playing spoiler? I mean, come on now.
This is about a film session. This is what can you put on film to prepare to go into Happy Valley. It's officially going to be, fall. Central PA, the Nittany Lions, they've got their own thing going on, but officially in Big Ten play. So you know how that goes. I'm not going to lie. I've had that game scheduled since or circled, I should say, since the schedule came out. That's probably, I don't think I'm being dramatic in saying that that's the biggest game on the schedule for the Ducks this year. I think that's going to direct us to where we will be at the end of the season, is how we play in Happy Valley against Penn State.
Well, our resident friend, Mike, who is a Penn State fan, Drake. He's ready. He's ready to maybe discuss with you next week about Penn State and Oregon. So we'll have to pass that along to next week. But let's talk about San Diego FC. A little bit of coming back down to earth against Minnesota. That's a tough loss. Still have 2 points on them in the standings. Had a friendly. Let's talk about the game against Minnesota from last Saturday.
I mean, ultimately, you could not have a more unfortunate offensive performance if you were San Diego FC. Not because you weren't creating, not because the quality wasn't there. You had both. I mean, just looking at the stats here, you had 28 shots, 13 of which were on target. And, unfortunately, if you're looking at the opposite side of your Minnesota, you go to Snapdragon, 5 shots on target. Your second goal is essentially a ricocheted header into the goal, which it really exemplified and kind of epitomized the fortune and just the fact that Minnesota was firing on all cylinders. I mean, even thinking from the first half alone, Anders Dreyer could have had 2. Going in, let's say around the 70th minute, I recall, although it was 20, 25 yards out, Chucky Lozano could have had another brace as well to make it 1-1. So, and even go up 2-1, especially as you go later into the second half. So it's really unfortunate. The game was a lot closer than what the scoreboard said. It was 1-0 for 3/4 of the game, if not more. And so 3-1, I think, is a bit of a harsh result to take. But the reality is like you said, Braden, it is very much a coming down to earth. But I think it's a good segue into this Atlanta United game where Atlanta and San Diego, they could not statistically, as far as narrative is concerned, they could not be polar opposites in terms of their 2025 thus far.
Let's talk about the game of the Baja Cup. Friendly, not a lot of San Diego FC regular starters playing in that particular match. What was your takeaways from the friendly and how this might translate into, for the next couple of years as they've signed this deal on for the next handful of years?
Yeah, I see this very much as a partnership. Don't think the scoreboard matters. If you're a fan, you got 6 goals total between the two. San Diego gets a 4-2 win. But the reality is this is all about developing the community. I think that, from both sides, like you said, not really playing your top guys, especially if you're on the MLS side. You're coming into the throes of, obviously, playoff contention is taken care of, but you're talking about seeding. You're talking about getting healthy as we go into the end of September. You got a couple of regular season games in the beginning of October as well. So ultimately, it's community. I also think that you're trying to drive a generation into supporting both of the clubs in this dual national, multinational city in San Diego, whether it's Club Xolos in Tijuana or it's San Diego FC here in San Diego. So I think ultimately that's what it's all about. It was great to see. You never want to play a friendly and then just nothing happened. At least it was entertaining. You got 6 goals out of it.
We're talking with Trey Kills, who is a contributing writer for Black Players for Change. He has also written for ESPN.com. He's covered soccer for a long time. And we're doing our usual Soccer 101 on a Friday here in America's finest city. So San Diego FC tomorrow is on the East Coast. They're taking on Atlanta. What are some of the challenges that Atlanta brings to San Diego FC as we are now down to the nitty-gritty with only 4 games left in the regular season?
Yeah, as I was saying earlier, these two teams could not be further apart from each other. Let's just start with off the field. It's unfortunate. Garth Lagerwey, the president and CEO of Atlanta United FC, announced publicly that he came down with a cancer diagnosis in July, so he's been away from the team. Just for context, Garth Lagerwey is one of the most respected, bona fide, not only chief soccer officers and eventually a president and an executive, but overall just one of the most respected soccer stakeholders in the American game, period. We're talking, Seattle, obviously Atlanta, having ties to pretty much the league in general, building the game in this country. He is a leader that any club would want. And so it's been a rocky start from the top for Atlanta United. But ultimately, in terms of on the field, these two sides cannot be more different. If you're taking a look at Emmanuel Latilat, who comes over from Europe. He's an Ivorian from the Ivory Coast. He's a striker. Atlanta paid the second most in this year's 2 transfer windows. Atlanta paid $22 million for Emmanuel's services. That is second most to Heung-min Son at LAFC. That is a whole lot of money, right? And then unfortunately, with health and just the lack of goals, a 26-year-old in his prime, not able to provide the winning ways that Atlanta was expecting. The same thing goes for Miguel Almiron, right? Helped win an MLS Cup with Atlanta United back in 2019, goes to Newcastle United, plays in the English Premier League, becomes a hero for those at St. James's Park, comes back, and unfortunately that legacy that he left is in a way kind of subsided in the lack of production. So a lot of star power for Atlanta United has not performed up to the expectations. When you look at San Diego, we know we've talked about Anders Dreyer coming from Belgium to sign for San Diego FC is an MVP candidate, and it's very favorable to win MVP, as well as Chucky Lozano has showed up as really the poster boy, if you will, for San Diego FC. Atlanta, 13th in the East, 26th out of 30 in MLS. They're already eliminated from playoff contention. Obviously, San Diego is a little much different. A negative 18 goal differential for Atlanta. The complete opposite for San Diego. Got 18 plus 18 in the goal differential. They only got 4 wins at home at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And so this is going to be a day game. We'll see what the stadium atmosphere is like. Atlanta, just for those who don't know, this is a team that has on average led MLS or been the top 2, 3, 4, and 5 in terms of average attendance over the course of the season. But in terms of on the field, Ronnie Delia, he's won MLS Cup with NYCFC in 2021. He comes with a very high press tactical system. He wants to disrupt any buildup with possession. So that's going to be interesting to see how San Diego goes up against that on the road. But then again, being the best team by far on the road with 10 wins on the road so far in 2025. So a bit of a clash in terms of playing style, a bit of a clash in terms of 2025 narrative, coaching, pretty much everything between these two teams. Day game, 4:30 Eastern, 1:30 Pacific.
We're going to be talking with Drake next week and or maybe the week after. We're going to be talking some playoffs and how the playoff system works for MLS as we get closer to playoff time. Obviously, San Diego FC, the first team to clinch a playoff spot. I've already seen the playoff billboards out there around San Diego. I saw one off the 163 the other day driving home from our game that we had for USD men's soccer. Some of the college soccer scene's been pretty good. San Diego Wave's been doing well. As far as the rest of the local soccer, seems to have some good years so far for most of the teams here locally, Drake.
Yeah, all the way around. You talked about the youth setup. USD continuing their winning ways at home, or at least their unbeaten ways, if you will. San Diego Waves is also in an interesting position. They've had a couple of results that they wish they could probably take back, namely that game against Gotham not too long ago. But then you've got Portland Thorns, you've got Orlando coming up as well. And if you look at the standings, they have kind of been behind Washington in the standings. They went from, second to third, and now they're sitting in fifth right now, tied with Portland. So they're in playoff contention. They have winning mentality as well. But just to go back to San Diego FC, 3 players going to play next week in the FIFA Under-20 Men's World Cup. You've got Luca Bombino, Duran Fariz, a reserve 18-year-old goalkeeper, Pedro Soma, who is a little bit of a late addition to San Diego FC this season. All 3 of them will be playing for the U.S. in Chile next week. So you've got youth talent for now. You got youth talent for the future. So yeah, all the way around. It's a lot of future promise for soccer in San Diego.
Drake, we appreciate the time as always. Have fun watching the whatever they call it now between Oregon and Oregon State. Don't overlook the Beavers, man, before you have to go to Beaver Stadium.
You're absolutely right. But hey, real quick, we got a friend of ours watching the show or listening to the show. Our friend Lizzie Murray is representing the Stoke Sessions 2.0. It's a conference on culture, history, and politics of surfing and skateboarding. from October 9th through the 12th. You've got Stephen Van Duren. You've got Bryce Wetstein. Going to be the keynote speakers. You've got board shaping demos from Tom Bahaku Stone. So sdsu.edu/stoked. I'm going to be attending, Braden. I don't know how big of a surfer or skater you are, but I'll be there.
Well, we might have to get her on then to talk a little bit more about this potential deal. So that's what day did you say it was?
Yeah, so that's October the 9th through the 12th. They're going to have pretty much an all-day setup, both on the 9th, 10th. And even that 12th, that Sunday, there's going to be a nice paddle out. I'm not going to say the beach because I don't want to be inaccurate, but you got it all at sdsu.edu/stoked.
And we'll have a couple of weeks then before we can get Lizzie on. So, Drake, appreciate the time as always, and look forward to talking to you next week. You coming down to hang out with us at Baja Rick's?
That Baja Rick's might see me. I'll be wearing my Oregon gear, that's for sure.
I love it. I'm going to have to wear my TCU stuff. They play Arizona State next Friday, so that should be fun. But, Drake, we appreciate the time as always. Thanks again to Drake Hills joining us for Soccer 101. And for anybody else that doesn't know, we will be live next Friday. A week from today, we're going to be live at Baja Rick's, getting into playoff baseball mode. So Frank's going to be down there. Great. Frank's first time with us down at Baja Rick's, huh?
My first genuine remote, like that's not a pre-planned
not
usually
a thing at the stadium.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm going to have to wear the TCU stuff on it. We got a big game against Sam Levitt on Friday. That you know what? That makes things even more complicated for the game against Sam Levitt on Friday. Remember, he's got to be covering the Arizona Diamondbacks, San Diego Padres game. He's also got to be talking about, he's got to get ready to take on the Frogs. He's got to worry about us at Baja Rick's. I mean, we should put Sam on with us at Baja Rick's just to distract them more so the Frogs can win.
100%.
That bit, especially now. So we talked about that being a bit for sure. And now that we're going to be at a live remote for this, we got to do it in person. It's might as well.
Kind of ruins the bit though, because we've got Arizona State. We've got Arizona State quarterback Sam Levitt coming on the show today, and then you just
with
get
the
his voice.
Hey man, you're pretty good for radio, huh? What about our buddy that from Galveston, whatever?
Yeah,
Galveston College.
Braden Klug.
Got to get him on the show. So yeah, Frank and I will be at Baja Rick's next Friday from 10 to 2. Gwen and Chris will be on after with Matt Scraby and Chris Ello. Come on down to Baja Rick's, go to the Padre game, come down and say hi. Should be a fun time. Gives you guys an opportunity to come say hi to us for the first time. Haven't seen us unless you were going to Padres games. We're going to be out and about. So if you go to the game next Friday, I think it's the last beer fest of the year too. It's the last weekend of the season. We will be out there at Baja Rick's next Friday from 10 to 2. Should be a fun time. Looking forward to it. You know what they've done? They've given us this like gigantic platter every single time for food with like lobster and stuff like that. You might have to eat it all. You haven't had it yet.
Says the guy who just got a weight loss surgery. Yep.
Yes.
I'll totally be able to eat all that.
Yep. You're going to have to nibble on a lot of things. Baja Rick, a good spot. It's right next to the ballparks, walking distance. Should be a good time. By the way, I got an update on I got an email. It says from Nike, your shoes have been delivered. That's awesome. That's great news. It's great news. I get to rep those tonight on Your View. I see my guy Tommy Morris on the call.
Why does it have to be my view?
I don't know. You're the one that made it. It's Your View. I'm
I
debuting
didn't
them
make
on Your
anything.
View, Go Aztecs. Yeah, so if you want to check it out, check out my new shoes.
Dude, I could barely make a trivia question, let alone a television station.
Last City Connect Day. Rod said he'll help you with any of the food, Frank.
Go for it, bud.
I bet you Rod could take down some Baja Ricks.
It's fine with me.
How about that? I was going to say, weren't we supposed to be out of here?
Yeah, I thought I hit the thing. My bad.
That's right. Foul on Frank for extending my work week.
Oh, forgot.
By an extra 10 seconds.
Extending the work week after having it cut short.
We had a Thursday off, and Frank's like, nope, got to get some more time. And what a company man you are.
Attaboy.
He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. We'll talk to you guys on Monday. Gwen and Chris coming up next.
Time for Rays.